step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
A very good morning, you early risers. It's just gone 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Lovely to have you with us. In fact, it is so good to be in your company. My name is Katlego Mabowe.
And my name is Tabiso Mokubela, otherwise your Uncle Tabsy. Welcome to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show. You're on the right side of, do we still say lockdown?
Of course, day 100 and...
something.
You know, we're there.
But you're here and we're live, and this morning we're celebrating International Youth Day on Expresso. It's going to be so much fun. Our thoughts obviously do go out to all of the students out there who are really trying to make it through this really tough academic year. You can imagine all over the world with all of the disruption that's taken place, and we're thinking of you guys.
Absolutely, and we want you to know that with dedication, with passion and perseverance, all things are possible. Your dreams are still valid yet in this new world that we find ourselves in. In fact, we entrust the future in your hands. And so equally so to all of the parents out there who have had no choice but to become the teacher as we all navigate homeschooling for the very first time. Fear not, we are here to bring you all of the tips and tricks and the learning material that can help along the way, which is very, very important. But hopefully it's been a bit of a bonding experience for you and your children as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it has been. Please do share that with us on our social media, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on Facebook. But let's say hi to the rest of the team. Hello, guys.
Our algebra teacher and biology teachers, yes.
Wow. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, South Africa. My name is Jamie Lee Domberg.
Rather morning. Good morning indeed. Yes, I'm definitely going to be taking algebra. You got bio?
Oh, no. Probably natural sciences or something. I think I was more of like the allo person, just there for like the orals and all of that stuff.
I was for the hearsay, Jamie.
I was a class clown all the time. I was never in class. I was always running around. But this is the new norm. Parents now has to be the teachers.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
homeschooling. Like we said, it's day 158 of something. And a lot of parents are freaking out because they don't know how to cope. They don't know what to do it. But of course, we're going to be giving you all those tips and just inspiration and how you can adapt to this new normal. And that's why on our social media platform, we've asked you how have you and your kids adapted to homeschooling during lockdown. Please let us know. Let a mother know. Let a father
Jamie,
know.
are you adapting? I have to ask. I mean, I don't have kids. I'm dying to know. Is it as hard as they say?
It is very difficult. It really is difficult. But I mean, we've gotten into a system now. It's all about routine. And of course, Shanas Moores is also going to be here today, registered counsellor, just to maybe ease us into it, give us her tips and advice for all the parents out there. So fear not, we are not alone. It is a community right now. So we are just spreading energy to all of you out there, to all the moms and parents out there and the guardians out there that needs help. We are going to be doing that. And you're also taking us through a yoga session for the kids.
Yeah, I've got something for the kids, of course, with the extra time that they have. So we're working on that mental aptitude, of course, and doing a yoga for kids, which is going to be really fun. And I've created a fun little story that we can share with them as well. But yeah, of course, all the magic coming up in the show. But for now, let's start off with the news. Let's check it out.
It's just gone 3 minutes past 6 o'clock. Here's a look at the news headlines. On the national news front, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize says that his team is preparing to make recommendations to the National Coronavirus Command Council regarding the easing of lockdown restrictions in the country. Mkhize said the government had recorded a downward trend in coronavirus cases across all of South Africa's provinces, and that these findings will be presented to President Cyril Ramaphosa this week. Meanwhile, the total number of confirmed positive cases in the country stands at 566,109, the death toll at 10,751, and the recovery rate at 75%. Now, Agri-SA has said that the ban on the sale of alcohol is creating corporate carnage and has urged the government to reconsider, quote, to allow the agricultural sector to continue contributing towards economic growth. The organization said it was gravely concerned about the impact of the ban on the entire alcohol value chain, stretching from wine, barley, hops, fruit and maize farmers to glass manufacturers and processors. SA Breweries earlier announced it was cancelling planned investments to the value of 5 billion rand as a result of the ban on alcohol sales. On the international news front, President Vladimir Putin announced yesterday that Russia has become the first country to approve a vaccine to prevent coronavirus infection, saying one of his daughters has already received a dose of the new prophylaxis. Now, the announcement of the new vaccine has yet to complete phase 3 trials in which large numbers of people are given doses to determine whether it's safe and effective in a general population. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has said any WHO stamp of approval on a COVID-19 vaccine candidate would require a rigorous safety data review. Namibia's Fisheries Minister Albert Gawana has announced that the country will auction off its fishing quotas on the open market to raise funds to fight COVID-19. The government intends to auction off quotas for 3 species: horse mackerel, hake and monk. The minister cited the need for medicine and medical equipment as the reason the government wished to raise money. Fishing is Namibia's 3rd largest earner after mining and agriculture. The proposed auction would be the first of its kind in the country. And now some good news regarding the world's most trafficked mammal. In a world first for the endangered Temminck's ground pangolin, a reintroduction program has been launched to release the species where they became locally extinct decades ago. KwaZulu-Natal, now Manyoni Private Game Reserve in Zululand, is working closely with the African Pangolin Working Group, HSI Africa, and the Johannesburg Wildlife Veterinary Hospital to rehome pangolins rescued from the wildlife trade. Pangolins are the world's most trafficked mammals, and their scales are highly sought after by poachers. Pangolins don't have vocal cords. Their only defense is to roll into a ball and lie very still. Sadly, this makes them extremely vulnerable to ruthless poachers. However, there are people fighting this trade with everything at their disposal. Survivors treated at the Joburg Wildlife Vet Hospital receive intensive care and are nursed back to health by a dedicated team. They are then moved to a suitable reserve like Manyoni, where the soft release process begins. Well, the good news is that the Zululand Conservation Trust has dedicated a large sum of conservation funds for the protection, rehabilitation and monitoring of these adorable little creatures. And finally, taking a quick glimpse into the world of entertainment, we've been watching our favorite late-night talk show hosts broadcast from the safety of their own homes for the past several months, and this week, some of the biggest productions returned to filming from their studios. The CBS pair of late-night hosts, Stephen Colbert and James Corden, began airing their in-studio tapings for The Late Show and The Late Late Show, respectively, from Monday. Colbert, whose show is taped in New York, expressed joy at seeing his crew again during his opening monologue and thanked his wife and kids for helping him produce the show from home. Meanwhile, Corden returned to his studio in Los Angeles, which has been redesigned to account for on-set safety regulations, something he hilariously highlighted as he kept stumbling into plexiglass shields. He joked, "I was so happy coming into work to be here on stage 56. 56 is also the number of temperature checks we've all had to pass through to get in here today." Both their shows are taped without a live audience, and guests appear via video call for their interview segments. Now, last month, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon also made its return to studio. Well, that's what's happening in the world, but right now let's take a look at what's happening on the sporting fields with the first look at the sports headlines. Here's Ryle.
Thank you so much, Kath. Now for a look at your local soccer. The Premier League clash between defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates ended in a goalless draw at the Dobsonville Stadium last night. Now 1 point now takes the Buccaneers to 3rd place on the standings, 4 points behind Masandawana in 2nd place. And there will be one PSL fixture this evening with the table toppers Kaizer Chiefs taking on Bidvest Wits at the Orlando Stadium from 6 p.m. Now sticking to soccer in the UEFA Europa League, action continued last night with Seville and Shakhtar Donetsk booking their spots in the tournament semi-finals. The Spanish side Seville left it late to beat Wolves 1-0 to take set up on a semi-final against Manchester United on Sunday. Now the Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk thrashed Brazil 4-1 and will face Inter Milan on Monday for a spot in the tournament final. Now lastly, in the world of tennis, Serena Williams will face sister Venus Williams in the 2nd round of the WTA WTA Top Seed Open Tournament taking place in Kentucky, USA. And the world number 9 Serena beat lowly ranked Bernarda Pera in 3 sets for 4-6, 6-4 and a 6-1 in a time of 2 hours and 15 minutes. And Venus beat Victoria Azarenka in straight sets 6-3 and 6-2. And this is the WTA tournament, and it's the first to be played in the US since the COVID-19 pandemic brought all tennis in the country to a halt earlier this year. Now that's all we have for the latest in your sport. Let's find out what's happening with our local weather report.
Very good morning to you, South Africa. I trust that you are all doing well. Let's have a look at your stunning sunrise pictures before we get into the forecast for the day. Utikeledi Mphahle sends her warm greetings with this bright sunrise picture from Tembisa in Gauteng. You start off the morning at a low of 8 degrees and will reach an afternoon temperature of 23 degrees. Gershwin Shaw keeps the sunrise in Gauteng with this picture of a gradual sunrise taken in Pretoria. It will be a good day with clear skies at temperatures ranging from 10 degrees to 26 degrees. Thank you, Dikeledi and Gershwin, for your sunrise pictures. I hope that you will have an awesome morning. Now, high winds and torrential rain on the New South Wales south coast in Australia in the past few days have resulted in a spectacular sight, waterfalls in the Royal National Park being blown in reverse. Meteorologists say this occurs when high winds come off the ocean and hit the cliffs, forcing the water back up waterfalls. The Royal National Park south of Sydney saw wind gusts of up to 74 kilometers an hour. Severe storms and torrential rain have battered Sydney and the south coast of New South Wales in recent days. The weather resulted in this spectacular sight rarely seen. The park is characterized by coastal cliffs, secluded beaches and eucalyptus-rich bushland with trails crisscrossing the terrain. Truly a beautiful sight. But now let's get into the forecast for the day for our country. Starting off at Polokwane at a maximum of 27 degrees and a minimum of 5. Bombela, you start off the morning on a low of 10 degrees, reaching a high of 26. Pretoria, your low is 6, you will reach a high of 25. Johannesburg, Jozi Maboneng, 423. Mahikeng, your temperatures range from 4 degrees to a high of 27. Klerksdorp, 025. At Sunnydale, Kimberley, starting off the morning at -1 and will reach a high of 19. Bloemfontein also below 0 this morning at -2, reaching a high of 18. A partly cloudy day for Richards Bay today at a low of 12 and a high of 23. A partly cloudy one for Pietermaritzburg, your minimum temperature is 6 and your maximum for the day is 20 degrees. Durban, South Africa's playground, 1322. The Eastern Cape Mthatha, your low is 7, reaching a high of 22. East London, your minimum temperature is 11 degrees and will reach a maximum of 21 degrees. Cradock, 122. Port Elizabeth, 1119. George, 1020. 30% rain in Cape Town at a low of 12 degrees and will reach a high of 15. Worcester, 713. Sutherland starts off the morning at -1, reaching a high of 8 degrees. Relatively cold temperatures today in Sutherland. And last but not least, Uppington, -1 and will reach a high of 20 degrees. We'll have a look at the weather at the top of the hour, but remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
Well, you are with us, so you are off to a good start, making sure that you're going to have yourself a feel-good type of day. But of course, as we do every single morning, we start the day off by getting an inspirational quote from someone who's lived the life and walked the journey. And we know, of course, that the journey of life is one filled with many lessons. There are so many of them. And of course, we've certainly been encouraged to take a step back and learn to appreciate a new way of living this year.
And as we discuss some tips on homeschooling for parents as part of our focus on International Youth Day, we want to remind you that while it is easy to get frustrated and lost with navigating the subject material, that it's a learning opportunity for both you and your children. Yes, it's going to take you back to the roots where you need to learn it all over again. And that's why we love the following words from spiritual teacher, author and philosopher Vernon Howard. And he once had this to say.
He said, always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. Simple, straight to the point, straightforward. Every day is an opportunity to learn. We'll read that again. It says, always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. That was Vernon Howard. Such beautiful words there.
Absolutely. And in just a moment, we are going to be connecting with a registered counsellor, Shinaz Moose, on those parenting tips of how we can just adjust to the new normal and homeschooling. So don't go anywhere. You want to stay right tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show. It's a fresh start, quite breezy and chilly here in the mother city, hopefully slightly warmer wherever you are, but thanks for joining us nonetheless. Now, while grades 12 and 7 learners are back at school, the rest of South African households are having to do it all from home. Yes, homeschooling is what we're talking about. And this morning, registered counsellor Shinaz Moose joins us to share some tips on how parents can better deal with the role of educator that has suddenly been thrust upon them, and how parents, of course, can better assist their children in learning during this time. Shinaz, always such a pleasure to see you and to tap into your wealth of knowledge. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I feel a bit weird though doing this from my house. Tried to make it screen friendly and all these other things, but okay, in the end I just thought, let people focus on what I'm saying rather than what's behind me.
I love that. We miss you so much. We miss your energy in studio. But I mean, really, how are you, juggling parenthood, working, and then also still being a wife during lockdown? I mean, blink twice if you're not okay, okay?
Okay, did I blink twice? I'm not sure.
No, but you seem like
okay, so how I am.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, you know what? I had a moment where I thought I was going to lose it, and I had to just, gather myself into myself and figure out the way forward. Because I think that in the beginning, it was a very romantic notion being at home, and then we had to start with the school part. And then our spouse didn't go to work, mine worked from home, and then comes this house full of everyone trying to live their outside lives inside their house at the same time. So that's when we had to upgrade our Wi-Fi as well, because with meetings, my husband's online, and then he would shout, "Get off the Wi-Fi, I'm in a meeting." Then I have an online session with a client, and I'm like, "Get off the Wi-Fi, I'm in a session." So that was the first month or so, and then we upgraded, and then everything was okay. So that was the one big adjustment that we've had to make. But I wonder about everyone else who wasn't as fortunate to have good running internet during the midst of all of this.
Yeah, I think thanks for bringing it home and really making it seem so real, because I think you've just related to us one of the most realist experiences that one might probably encounter in a household. And indeed, many parents have been forced into this new role now of being teacher. Now, if they haven't figured it out already, how can parents best approach this?
So that's where I said things went all wrong, because I was trying to be the teacher, and I'm actually not the teacher, I'm the mother. And the more that I pushed that kind of role and setup, the more frustrated I became, the more unhappy my child came. And we are quite close. We have an awesome bond. So I felt that being tested, shook up, And I said, and he said to me one day, he's now 10:30, and he said, I can't wait for school to start so you can go back to just being my mommy. And I replied back, I feel the same way. I miss us, because what it did was it completely transformed the parent-child dynamic. I have teachers in my family, and I'm always amazed at and admire what they do. But I'm honest, I am no teacher. I am no teacher. I'm an awesome mom. I even made a post on social media. I said, when it comes to being a mom, I'm like super amazing. But as a teacher, I suck. That's what I said, because it's the truth.
You have to speak the truth. And I like that you said that, like, when you were unhappy, you almost projected that onto him, because it is difficult. And, you know, a lot of the children, they hate certain subjects. For one, hello, you don't like algebra. How do you then deal with a child who strongly dislikes a particular subject, and it's a struggle for them to do it every single day?
Yeah, so every child has a subject, but it's worse when your child and your subject that you dislike is the same thing. So for us, it was maths. So it was maths particularly, and for me, it was like, actually, I was a bit smart. So I handed it over to my backup, which is my husband, who's actually good at maths. So I actually, because often you'll hear one parent is carrying the burden of the teaching at home, one parent. And you can't work from home, be that one parent, to work with your child, with your schooling, and still cooking, and all those other things were still there. I actually went into military mode, and I said to my soldiers, what are we doing? How are we doing it? We actually made a game plan for how we will clean, cook, do all those things, relax. And that we did early on in lockdown, which is why it only became a bit tiresome towards the 3rd and 4th month of being together.
Yeah, wow, what a challenge it has been. And you can imagine just how many households have had to adjust, and hopefully, like you, they've made a game plan way in the beginning. But how invested should parents be in their child's learning routine or schedule versus how much control and responsibility for self-learning should they give their child?
So already the burden that parents feel and the pressure for their children to excel academically while still being taught at school is high. But they don't hold themselves accountable. It's someone else's responsibility. But they're still highly stressed because there's a huge emphasis on academic achievement, to the detriment sometimes of other things. So for me, here you are now, the one responsible for this high standard and for what your child should learn. And the more expectation you have, the more disappointed, frustrated, and angry you will be. So when it comes to how invested you should be, you should actually just take a step back the way I did. I was getting all the Google Classroom emails. I felt all the pressure academically because it was coming to me. This is due, that's due, you know, do this, do that. And then eventually I said, I'm not reading them anymore. I told my son, you need to read them. And I will step back. I gave him my computer and I said, here's it open, do what you need to do. And that was the best homeschooling experience that I had. And the other thing I want to clarify is that homeschooling is not what we're all doing. We are doing remote learning, distance education, online learning, whatever you want to call it. This is what our kids are doing. Homeschooling is something that parents choose to do, to take responsibility from love, to teach their children in a way that works for the child. So it's not the same. Everyone says homeschooling, and I'm sure all the homeschooling mommies are really in a rage by the abuse of it because everyone's complaining they have to teach their children. So for me, homeschooling and remote learning are two different things. So we're not doing it out of love. We're doing it because we're forced to. And that's where the distance learning, remote learning, whatever you want to use. So yeah, we just need to also watch our terminology.
Sometimes you just have to take a step back and let it all go. But Shanaz, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, for all your homeschooling and remote learning advice this morning. I'm glad to see you doing okay. We can't wait to have you back in studio with us. But be safe out there. Be safe out there in the battlefield with all the kids and being a wife and being, a mom and everything. And we got you. We got you, Mama.
Yes.
Are you calling it a battlefield indeed?
Yeah,
It's a war zone out there. But listen, do stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show because we'll be getting some tips and insights from specialist high school maths tutor a bit later on. And of course, helping you on along. And we've got a couple of minutes until then, Jamie Lee. And so I thought I'd challenge you because you said you're going to be taking over the algebra duties. Did you say, I think you said algebra. So here's the question. If X is equal to Y, right?
If X is equal to Y?
What's A plus B? Think about that. Think about it. Okay, just think about it. You thinking about it?
I'm thinking
Keep
very
thinking
hard.
about it. Don't stop thinking. You still thinking about it?
Very
cool.
much.
Just don't stop yet. This is it.
Kat, don't worry, my friend, and Jamie Lee, don't worry. I've got you covered. The answer is Z, plain and simple. But thank you once again. Of course, chatting to Shanaz earlier was really good to obviously find out all the struggles we're currently going through. I think as a woman, being a mom, being a wife, having kids, it's such a challenge on its own, of course. And I know every now and then we really just need to take a break and breathe, eh?
Absolutely, man. It's International Youth Day, so it's time for us to just sit back and reflect on, you know, how far we've come as the youth of the world with regards to everything, you know, that has happened in the past, what's happening now, and it's important to know where we are going. And one way to do that is just by taking a break to reflect. And with us, it's with our favorite cappuccino, okay? Small cappuccino from McCafe. Absolutely delicious. 19 Rand 90, Raul Demoni.
I think it's a perfect combo, and I think it's the perfect opportunity, like you said, to just take time out to reflect. I mean, even as South Africans, and not only just being a woman, we are going through the most, quickly. We are dealing right now. And I think it's important just to take accountability of the fact that we are dealing and we are still surviving.
Yes.
And it's good to take ownership of that and take strength in that. I mean, we've gone through a lot, South Africa, and we genuinely are proud of you, and take a moment to just appreciate that and acknowledge that. I think it's important indeed.
Just a simple cup of coffee can make you do all of that. Nothing says self-love like a great cup of coffee. So take a moment to treat yourself to a small cappuccino from McCafe, because when you do, they will throw in a free mini donuts just like that. All of that for 19 Rand 90. Totally worth it and totally delicious. Cheers to you, bro.
Yes.
What's better than a sugar-coated, deliciously crispy golden brown donut and 100% Arabica beans brewed to perfection? Treat yourself and warm up your morning with a little sweetness from McCafe with the all-new mini donut and cappuccino offer. A little lovin' doesn't have to cost a lot. Great coffee, simple.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday.
birthday to you. Oh yes, welcome back to it. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, live on SABC3. Beautiful Wednesday morning. It's time for us to celebrate all our loved and loyal viewers who celebrate their birthdays today. And of course, if you are celebrating your birthday, well, you share it with, wait for it, Leah Pipes. She turns 32 years old today. Remember her?
Absolutely.
Such amazing work. Of course, she's an
Beautiful.
American actress. She's well known for her role on the TV series Life is Wild. Of course, she's also had notable, acts as Camille O'Connell, for example, on The Originals, which is where I know that Jamie Lee remembers her from. But of course, one of her highlights was the lead that she played in her first major film, 2009's Sorority Row, or Raw rather, which obviously was fantastic, and she will now star in the movie Red Wedding, which hasn't been released yet. It's something to look forward to. Of course, we can't wait for that. And happy birthday, Leah.
So beautiful. And now, of course, the beautiful viewers at home, this one is for Sizwe. Happy birthday to one of the coolest bros out here, Ikasi. Sizwe Jack, may you continue being that best version of yourself, my brother. More life's blessings to you, champ. And this is from all your friends on your special day. And then we have another one to Shalom. Happy 13th birthday to the beautiful Shalom. Here's a wish for happiness and many of your dreams to come true. May God bless you with all the wonderful things that you deserve in this life. You are very special to all of us, and we love you very much. This is lots of love from grandma, dad, mum, and the rest of the family.
It's also Mum Tando's birthday today. Mum Tando has, or rather Mum Tando has a big one. It's a 55th birthday, and it says, happy 55th birthday to me, Tando. I'm thankful for turning 55 years in the world of pandemics.
Yes, be your own high person, wish your own self.
I love it, but also that gratitude, that's beautiful. And then it's Shay's birthday as well. Happy birthday to Shay Manuel. May you have an awesome day. God bless you always. This is from your auntie Elaine, Uncle Jerome, and your family.
And then a double one to Marcus and Tallulah. Happy 17th birthday to Marcus and Tallulah. We love you so much. And this is from Mama Chantal, Dad Michael, and Ma Dima on your special day today. And then Kenza's also celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday to our firstborn, Kenza Williams. You are 6 years old today, but you will forever stay our big baby. May the God's grace always abide with you, mommy, daddy, and your baby brother, Cade. Love you so much. Have a fantastic day.
And then Noluvuyo, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Miss Grootboom. I pray that God blesses you with all the happiness in the universe. May you prosper and shine everywhere you go. This is from your Mbekweni people, all of them. They wish you a very, very happy birthday today. But of course, if it is your birthday, we want to hear from you. We want to see all of those birthday wishes and videos coming through on our WhatsApp line, which is 071-640-6551. Of course, you can also email your wishes to birthdays@kadova.tv.
Absolutely. And right now, it's time for us to make a breakfast cake in the kitchen with Chef Teresa. Oh, that sounds so good.
Bring it on!
Fruits of the forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, well, if you're looking for an exciting morning meal or a cute addition to your next brunch, then look no further than our Fruits of the Forest with Cereals Breakfast Bake that we're about to make. It's packed with delicious berries, and this berry-licious bake combines the concept of French toast all into one toasty crowd pleaser. And Teresa Olviate is, yes, she's back in the building for the very first time since lockdown and ready to show us how it all comes together. It's great to see you, Teresa. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to be back.
Excellent, excellent. So you got the memo. We were kind of matching here. This is working.
Yeah, of course.
Working. But this is a wonderful addition, as I said earlier on, to your breakfast menu or to your brunch menu. The end result looks absolutely amazing, and you can just kind of dig in and enjoy, right?
And great for a crowd as well. It's sort of got a French toast vibe, so if you don't want to be standing at the stove cooking for ages, you just put this in the oven, go and relax, and then you can serve it half an hour.
Minimal fuss, maximum taste.
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you got there?
All right, so this is our egg mixture. I'm going to start with our dish though. So we've got some bread here. You can use French loaf, ciabatta, whatever you like.
Whatever leftover bread that's been just hanging around, you don't know what to do with, right?
Exactly. So
does white bread in this case work better than brown bread?
I prefer to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. But So
because I'm assuming maybe something with, well, actually, a seeded bread could actually work as well.
Yeah. Use what you have. So I'm popping this into our oven dish. We've lightly greased it, and then we're going to top it with some fresh berries.
Okay,
so
lovely.
Use whatever kind you like.
Thanks to Nicole and
Pop them
Kelly for the
on
double
there.
dosage of bread there. We could have made like 5 of these.
So we're going to do that.
And those are in season as well, so...
Yes, they are available now in the shop, so you can see them more and more, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're going to make the egg mixture that we're going to pour on top.
Okay.
So I've got some cream cheese here, and I'm going to add some milk. And some eggs, and I'm going to put
And this is
you
where
to work just now.
the kind of French toast element of it comes into
Absolutely,
it, right?
it's sort of the custard mixture. I'm also going to add some honey, a little bit of sweetness.
Lovely.
And then some lemon zest as well, which is also great for the flavor.
So this could actually also serve as a dessert.
Pretty much a brunch, a dessert, a breakfast, I would say any time of the day, really.
Okay, good.
All right.
Bit of
While
lemon
I'm
zest.
doing this, I'm going to put you to work.
Yes.
If we can. So that's going to be the glaze we put on at the end.
Yeah, so we've got about a cup and a half
That's
of
cream cheese.
over here.
Add a few scoops of the fruits of the forest.
Lovely stuff, and we've got
just
the
whisk it together.
strawberry and cranberry, and this is the, of course, the flavor with cereal. I'm gonna eyeball it. Let's see how well I do in
Yeah,
that.
about a cup or so.
That's about a cup.
That looks good.
That's about a cup, I'd say. Okay, let's see how it all comes together here. Oh. Okay, so let's get it all
Our
mixed in.
mixture is
I think I might have been a bit premature with the whisk.
keep going.
Don't worry. Perseverance, I
So
tell
I'm
you.
going to pour some of this over our bread. Also whisk it a little bit more.
Oh, it's actually coming together quite nicely, yeah.
Pretty easy to put together.
Yeah. And you can get the children involved as well.
Absolutely.
If, like Shanaz earlier on, you were having a bit of trouble balancing the mom/teacher role.
Yes.
So you can use this as like a reward. Like, okay, guys, maths is done now. Let's go into the kitchen and do something fun. How are you handling that, by the way?
I've learned that motivation, having something to work towards, is very important. My times tables, I have to say, have never been better.
Really? What's 7 times 7?
49.
Yeah! Epic.
I'm doing a grade 2 at the moment.
Grade 2, okay.
It's been interesting, yeah.
So what's the grade 2 syllabus like? Is it, so are you getting into times tables now?
Times tables, yeah, a lot of maths, a lot of writing, phonics, practicing our sight words and that kind of thing.
Do children these days still get taught how to write in fast writing or cursive?
Oh, we're getting there, yeah. We're working our way up towards that. We're still getting the basics right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No, it's fun, it's fun.
Excellent stuff.
All right.
Of course, our hero ingredient for today's recipe that we're making is our fruits of the forest. And the Clover Fruits of the Forest dairy snack has a creamy taste and crunchy fruit in it. And of course, the Clover Fruits of the Forest with cereals dairy snack is a source of 10 vitamins as well. So great and healthy for the kids as well. Any flavor of Fruits of the Forest with cereals flavor can be used to make this particular recipe. Of course, it adds a beautiful texture and flavor and a burst of color as well, depending on which one you're using. So this is
great.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is I've just layered the bread with the berries and the egg mixture, and then you pop it in the oven for half an hour, 20 to 30 minutes at 180. Make your glaze, and then once it's cooled down a bit, you just pop the glaze on top.
Yeah.
And then you can add extra berries, you can add sunflower seeds, and...
Oh, yes. The more seeds, the better, especially if you're going to be having it for breakfast, right?
Absolutely, a bit of
high
nutrition.
fiber content and low GI releases slowly the energy throughout the day as well. So wonderful recipe, and great on the maths as well.
I'm trying.
Now, that's a delicious twist to a French toast. To get this recipe, head on over to our website, which is expressoshow.com, of course. And here's a little reminder in case you missed any of the steps.
Made with love by Clover.
Fruits Fruits of the forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Interview?
Ja, je got maar YouTube maar komt.
Hi, quickly.
How are
nice
you?
to see your face.
It's nice seeing you too. I can't wait for our conversation.
Thanks, quickly. Thanks for making me relax. I appreciate that.
Don't worry about it. This is Ryle.
Yeah,
so
we
we're going to be
still
having the conversation, all three of us.
You got it ready. So you can check.
Do you want to bring us in?
I can do that, madam.
Cool.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You're still locked in. It's your Feel Good Breakfast show, of course, and we're celebrating International Youth Day. And now with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's forced our children to stay at home for an extended period of time. And this has led to boredom, sadness, and I'm sure a lot of frustration amongst our youth. But there are a number of ways to keep children happy and mentally stimulated while at home. Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's why Chairperson of Social African Association for Social Workers in Private Practice, Paula Hildebrand, joins us via video call to tell us more about it. How are you doing this morning, Paula?
Thank you so much for having me on your show today. I so look forward to talking on this such an important topic. So thanks for having me.
Truly, truly important because children are currently not, I don't want to say stuck because that has a negative connotation, but they are currently at home because of the lockdown. What types of personal challenges are the children currently facing, you know, in the context of South Africa during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Quickly, I'm seeing so much in my practice as a social worker that the children have higher anxiety levels. The whole sense of normal has changed incredibly. Nothing is what it was. And just finding a change in the stimulation of the environment has created a lot of stress for them, as well as a lot of families are experiencing extreme stress due to the financial changes, as well as the restrictions that have come about because of COVID. Children are also extremely concerned about the health aspects of COVID.
I think that's so important. Now, I mean, I can only imagine as a kid, I would honestly probably just lose my mind and go crazy being kept up in the home because I want to be everywhere. But what are some of the activities that can kind of maintain mental stimulation for kids while at home?
Well, unfortunately, I'll never give you a straight answer on that one because the context of it is that a child that's emotionally secure and settled has a much more chance of having a stimulated brain. So the first point of call, I'd speak about creating safety emotionally in the home with the parents, the family, the siblings. It makes the brain so much more receptive to learning. And it's a lovely opportunity to learn new skills, to learn a language, to discover new crafts, creativities, even learn an instrument. But a lot of it is learned from the family dynamic. I've had so many parents say to me, but I can't teach. I'm not a teacher. How am I going to keep my children stimulated? They're going to go back to school a little bit dimmer than other kids. That is so not true. The learning they get from just being part of a family, playing board games, deep conversations, or talking about historic things that have happened in the family creates such a stimulating environment for children's brains. EEGs have proven this, that deepening relationships stimulate the brain more than anything else. So creating a context where children are seen and heard and engaged with creates an environment for learning. Besides that, I really would encourage a lot of outdoor activities, walking as a family. We're still allowed to do that, which is a relief, and certain amount of safe engagements, be it social distancing, masks, that kind of thing, to be mindful of the fact that children's strongest need at the moment is for social engagement. And it's extremely difficult for them to know where they fit into the world without understanding their social context. So some of it is within the family, but some of it's also their little friends or older friends, depending on the age of the children. So engaging in technology for social reasons is actually very important at this time. But I do encourage parents to monitor that and be part of it and to enable it in a very healthy manner, to understand what are the good manners that go with digital environments, and also what it means to be responsible and safe working in those spaces.
I love that you touched on the fact that, you know, the family plays an important part in creating a safe space for children to feel heard and seen, because at the end of the day, as human beings, we are social beings. So to create that kind of environment for them to keep stimulated, especially when they feel kind of confiscated in a small space every day, 24 hours, can be a little frustrating. You've also touched on, you know, the importance of social media, technology. We're in a world of social media. It's dominating. How much time should, our children be spending online and on their devices in general?
Quickly, this one's been kind of messed with because devices are no longer just for fun, but they're also for school or for work and to engage with their teachers and their peers. So it's hard to regulate it in this environment. So if I have to broadly talk around technology, I think the starting point I'd like to say is look at the ages of the children, and I'll talk through that piece now, but also to consider what is the digital space replacing? Is it taking away good sleep? Is it taking away time to play outdoors or conversations where they talk face to face? Because then it does become harmful. But if it has its right place, it can be incredibly valuable for the children to engage healthily with digital platforms. So let me get to the ages part, because I think this is the one parents always kind of ask me, how much time is good time and how much is not?
Yes.
There's no real answer, but I'd like to say that the under twos really shouldn't have any digital stimulation. Their little brains cannot process what is real and not real on that level. And the heightened learning comes from engagement, from unstructured play and contact with their caregivers. I do encourage video chats for those special goggles that they can't see, or people that need to see them, as the family dynamic is so dispersed at this time. We know how that is with our grandmothers and the like. So that kind of space, as long as it's explained to the child, so it's never done without the adult being present to explain the context. And then we go from a little bit older up until 2 years old, thereabouts, 2.5 years old. I'd still really engage with the child. They cannot work out 2D to 3D. So what they see in a 2D space, they cannot work out how that applies to the real life of 3D. Once again, the parents' involvement in teaching about life, 3 to 5, they need to know how to apply that knowledge. So there are lovely educational programs out there. If it says education in the App Store, be mindful it might not be educational. So just use your discernment with that. But at the same time, co-viewing is so important. Explaining how those principles apply to real life. How does that become applicable to their growth? And then slowly, as they go on 6 years and up into high school, just giving them a context of what is healthy and age appropriate for the time they're at. But I would like to say 5 or 6 year old, I would never give them more than an hour a day. I like to go on 15 minutes per year. But people think I'm a bit conservative, and there's some parents that might hate me for that comment, because it's really nice to plonk a child in front of something. My view is, let's put focus on what we can add to the child's experience despite the digital space. They need to hear your sound of your voice. They need to see your eye contact. They need to see what you laugh at and what you cry about, to discern what their life's about. So digital is incredibly helpful to learn. There's incredible material out there. the exposure to the world, the ability to learn and grasp and change is phenomenally enhanced with digital things. But let's not use the wholesomeness that defines our culture in South Africa. We are incredibly tight, loving families. The Ubuntu that we are part of and care for each other can't be lost in the modern technology that we're working with.
I love that.
I don't know. I think I've spoken around a lot of issues there. I don't know if there's something you want me to add.
It is truly important, and we are so grateful to be having this conversation with you, Paula. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. I don't know if we've just lost it there, unfortunately, but Paula coming through with such incredible knowledge when it comes to our kids. And of course, with it being International Youth Day, we'd obviously like to thank Paula Hildebrand so much for sharing her knowledge and, of course, the advice on parents and how to keep our kids happy and mentally stimulated while at home during this lockdown and, of course, during these testing homeschooling times.
You are still keeping it locked right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, stories are not only inspire, but also introduce children to worlds, concepts, and images far beyond their imagination. From astronauts to super inventors, friendship, acts of kindness, and magic. Through stories, children can see and believe in new possibilities. That's why Cadbury Dairy Milk wants everyone to help inspire our orphaned and vulnerable children by sharing an inspirational story. Now, these children have had a harder time during lockdown than we could ever imagine.
Yeah, and they, of course, have less access to volunteers and to caregivers, which is why they all need that stimulation and inspiration in all of it as much as they can get. So, Lebohang Masangwa, award-winning author of children's book Mpumi's Magic Beads, and junior category brand manager Thabang Mudiba, join us to chat more about this new and exciting initiative and how you can share your story, because there really is a story in everyone, whether fact or fiction. Lebohang, Thabang, a very good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Hi.
Good morning, team.
Thabang, let me start off with you first. Talk to us about the Glass and a Half Project presents There's a Story in Everyone. Why was this initiative launched?
There are millions of orphan and vulnerable children across South Africa, and many of which have limited access to stimulation and they have limited access to inspiration. So given that, I think now more than ever, they really need our help, As you know, we launched the Glass and a Half Project, whereby we called upon South Africans to give the precious gift of childhood. And by simply purchasing a specially wrapped bar, you helped contribute towards R1 million worth of educational toys, books, and games for orphan and vulnerable children. So what we've done now is that we've taken it a step further with Glass and a Half presents There's a Story in Everyone. And basically what we're doing now is that we're calling upon South Africans just to be generous and share their stories, especially in this time.
This is so amazing. For you, Lebohang, as an author, how exciting is it to hear about an initiative like this one that's encouraging others to write inspirational stories, and what inspired you to write stories for children and to just share your experiences with the rest of South Africa?
Well, I'm really excited that this campaign has been launched because I think it's wonderful to get all South Africans to remember that while we're busy with lockdown, while we're concerned for our health and the health of our loved ones, it's important to spare a thought for orphaned and vulnerable children and to spare a thought of the ways that this has affected them. And so I love that we are all being called upon not just to buy the specially wrapped Cadbury Dairy Milk bars, but to also contribute stories that will be later compiled and shared with them. So I think that's wonderful. And what inspired me to write my story and to become a writer is that, we grow up with stories. We grow up with grandmoms who tell stories, moms, dads, uncles. Stories really fill our lives. And I just wanted to become one of the people who would contribute positively to children's childhoods in ways that are memorable and exciting. And I'm so happy that we're calling upon everyone to engage in this, because it really is fun and it's going to be special for all the children who receive these stories in the end.
Yeah, and I'm glad that this initiative actually does call on everyone, because it's an opportunity for those stories to be documented and to possibly never be lost ever again. So, Thabang, clearly you don't have to be an experienced writer to share your story, but it can be kind of one of those very fearful things. You don't know where to start. How do we start?
So basically, we believe that there's a story in everyone. So what we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks, we'll be sharing tips from expert storytellers who will help South Africans carve out their stories. And then from there on, what we'll do is that we'll showcase how anyone and everyone can actually share their stories, you know. So we encourage people to please stay tuned onto our social media platforms as well as our Cadbury website in terms of how we'll be showing how everyone can share their stories and inspire orphan and vulnerable children, especially in this time.
Yeah, fiction or real life, doesn't matter. This is exciting stuff, right?
Lebohang, maybe you can add on to that, you know, what impact has your stories had on children in South Africa, and maybe share some wisdom for people that are maybe afraid to start, but wants to start. How do they then get rid of this fear?
Well, I think my story has impacted little girls to really, really just love themselves and love their hair. My favorite anecdote from my actual story is that there has been a school that's actually added beads to their school hair policy because one of the little girls who loved my story actually added beads to her hair. And while it wasn't allowed at the time, her parent and the school were able to sit down and work it out. And they realized that there's no actual reason why children shouldn't wear beads in their hair if that's what makes them feel happy and confident and beautiful. So that's my favorite thing that happened from my story, Mpumi's Magic Beads. And in terms of sharing your stories, you know, the wonderful thing about stories is that they don't just start with writing. You know, a story can start from a conversation you have with someone. You can see something happening, perhaps on television, perhaps in the streets. And a story doesn't always have to be written down. You can record a voice note. You can write a picture, you can paint something, you can make something out of clay. So while we're inspiring everyone and telling everyone that there is a story in everyone, I want everyone to think really big. You don't have to confine yourself to the page. You can make a story out of anything. Yeah.
That's amazing. And, you know, to think that one of your stories has had such a massive impact on such a crucial cultural issue, you know, the issue of hair and identity and legacy as well is so, so important. I want to ask you a little bit further about, you know, being a storyteller that inspires young children. How has that helped you continue writing more stories? And has it indeed?
It has. I actually came out with the follow-up to Mpumi's Magic Beads just the other day, where the story follows and Mpumi meets a little boy who's deaf, and they learn to communicate with each other because, you know, when it comes to childhood, there is no barrier to forming friendships, and the story follows their adventures.
I love that. Tebang, you touched on it briefly, but I want you to expand a bit more on it. How can the public get involved to share their stories, and how will the stories be shared with our orphaned and our vulnerable children during this time?
So basically, what we'll be doing is that over the next 2 weeks, we'll be reaching out to experts in order to help us and help South Africans carve out and really be able to tell their stories, you know. And thereafter, what we'll be doing is that on our social media pages, as well as our Cadbury website, we'll be showing more details in terms of how people can actually share their stories, you know. And once people have shared their stories, what we'll then do is that we'll be illustrating as well as compiling all these most inspiring and appropriate stories for children. We'll be compiling them into an ebook for orphan and vulnerable children to actually enjoy. And we'll be sharing it with our beneficiaries. And in addition to this, we'll be having it on our Cadbury website for everyone to actually enjoy.
This is wonderful news, and I tell you, this has inspired me a little bit. Lebohang, I know that you've written Mpumi's Magic Beads, which is amazing, but I want to plant a seed. Try this title, Katleho's Incredible Calabash. I think you should write something about that.
And I love the iteration as well. I love it. Great title.
That's what I'm saying.
He's gonna take royalties from that.
None of that. None of that. This is just beautiful, inspirational. But thanks to the two of you for the chat this morning. Much appreciated. Have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
So there you have it. Start getting creative. Over the next 2 weeks, Cadbury Dairy Milk will share tips from expert storytellers to help you discover your inspirational story, whether fictional or based on real life.
Now, we hope you share your story and help inspire our orphaned and vulnerable children. Follow the Cadbury Dairy Milk Glass and a Half Project presents There's a Story in Everyone conversation at www.cadbury.co.za/generosity or on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram using the hashtags Glass and a Half and There's a Story in Everyone. Now they'll be sharing details on how you can share your story in the coming weeks.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody, to your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. Happy International Youth Day as well. We're celebrating all things International Youth in studio today. But of course, we asked you on our social media this morning, you know, it is day 150-something of a lockdown. How have you and your kids adapted to homeschooling during lockdown? Because seriously, this has become the new normal.
I think the general sentiment that I'm picking up on social media from so many of the parents is that the kids seem to think it's a holiday. So those comments have really had us laughing over here. But of course, let's take a look at some of them here. Itu Mofamere Sebatane says, morning Expresso team. I can't really say we have adapted, but we keep trying. Homeschooling is not easy at all. These kids are just out of control and think they're on holiday. They think they're on holiday. Okay. I promise you. And then Norma Parker Perenzi says, good morning, team. I salute teachers because I can't cope. And the kids don't listen.
Imagine the teachers doing this, you know, 5 days a week.
Every day.
Now you appreciate the teachers so much more.
Yeah, we've got more comments.
We have one from Lovey Governor saying, good morning, Expresso team. It has many challenges, especially these young kids that think it's a holiday. Work is done only when they feel like the rest of the time it's just games and TV.
Oh, man.
And then the last one is from top fan Josephine Pickstone saying, good morning, family. I support my boy in his homework. I make sure it's done. He did online with his teachers. Yes, it's all about supporting. And like Shinaz also said early on, it's all about creating a routine for you. And you have to differentiate between being a mom and a teacher. You are still a mom and you're still a parent above all else of being a teacher as well.
So now we get to walk in the shoes of all those teachers who have to struggle with the kids on a daily basis. But of course, do keep those comments coming through. Expresso Morning Show SABC3. It's the top of the hour. Time to find out what's happening in the news, Kat.
It's just gone 1 minute past 7 o'clock. Here's a look at the news headlines this morning. On the national news front, COSATU yesterday said it supported calls to lift the ban on the sale of alcohol, provided that regulations ensuring responsible drinking were implemented. COSATU said it had met with liquor producers and requested them to come up with a plan that addressed the concerns of health authorities and workers. Spokesperson Sizwe Pamla said they were also requesting the cigarette industry to suggest solutions for the ban on the sale of tobacco products to be lifted. Pamla said that while they supported the protection of lives, livelihoods should also be prioritized. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize says that his team is preparing to make recommendations to the National Coronavirus Command Council regarding the easing of lockdown restrictions in the country. Mkhize said the government had recorded a downward trend in coronavirus cases across all of South Africa's provinces and that these findings will be presented to President Cyril Ramaphosa this week. Meanwhile, the total number of confirmed positive cases in the country stands at 566,109, the death toll at 10,751 and the recovery rate at 75%. On the international news front, Egypt's Civil Aviation Minister Mohammed Manar has said that after Lebanon's massive explosion last week, it was moving all dangerous materials held at airports nationwide to more secure locations. The minister said he was taking precautionary measures by either immediately releasing them or transferring them to safe storage spaces well outside of the range of airports and residential areas. A committee would conduct a comprehensive evaluation of all procedures applied inside the storage areas in order to address any risks before they arise, he said. Now, President Vladimir Putin's announcement yesterday that Russia has become the first country to approve a vaccine to prevent coronavirus infection, saying one of his daughters has already received a dose of the new prophylaxis. The announcement of the new vaccine has yet to complete phase 3 trials, in which large numbers of people are given doses to determine whether it's safe and effective in general populations. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization said any WHO stamp of approval on a COVID-19 vaccine candidate would require a rigorous safety data review. And now news of an eye-catching solution. Conflict between farmers and wildlife has always constituted major problems, and the Okavango Delta in Botswana is no exception, where livestock rubs shoulders with lions, leopards, hyenas, cheetahs, and African wild dogs. So the Botswana Predator Conservation and local herders have come up with a rather unorthodox plan, and it seems to work. Roughly about a third of some 2,000 cattle that had recently suffered lion attacks were painted with artificial eyes on their backsides. Now, another third was painted with simple cross marks, and the remaining third was left unmarked. And to their utter amazement of all, none of the 683 painted eye cows were killed by ambush predators during a 4-year study period, while 15 unpainted and 4 cross-painted cattle were killed. Now, these results support the initial hunch that creating the perception that the predator has been seen by the prey leads to the abandoning of the hunt. And it's now fervently hope that this simple, low-cost approach of supplying cattle with a second pair of eyes could result in happy animals and also reduce costs of coexistence for many farmers. And finally, taking a quick glimpse into the world of entertainment, this past Monday we reported on British entertainment manager and talent competition show judge Simon Cowell recovering from 5-hour surgery he received due to breaking his back in several places when he fell off an electric motorbike he was testing in the courtyard of his home. He is now walking again as part of his recuperation and has also begun some work on his tablet while in hospital. He is currently not allowed visitors due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Now, fans of the popular American talent show he judges were concerned about how the taping of live shows were to commence without him this week. But it has been announced that singer Kelly Clarkson will be filling in for him, as there's no timetable for when he could potentially make a return to work. Simon has tweeted since the accident, saying, quote, "Some good advice: if you buy an electric trail bike, read the instructions before you ride it for the first time." He thanked everyone for their kind messages of support and sent a massive thank you to his doctors and nurses as well. Well, on that note, that's it for the news at 7 o'clock. We'll have another report at 8 o'clock. But right now, here's the latest from the world of sport with Demorne.
Thank you so much, Mapue. And now starting off with our local soccer, the Premier League clash between defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates ended in a goalless draw at the Dobsonville Stadium last night. Now, 1 point now takes the Buccaneers to third place on the standings. We're 4 points behind Masandawana in second place. And there will be one PSL fixture this evening with table toppers Kaizer Chiefs taking on Bidvest Wits at the Orlando Stadium from 6 p.m. Now, sticking with soccer in the UEFA Europa League action, which continued last night, where Seville and Shakhtar Donetsk booked their spots in the tournament semi-finals. Spanish side Sevilla left it late to beat Wolves 1-0 to set up a semi-final against Manchester United on Sunday. The Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk thrashed Basel 4-1 and will face Inter Milan on Monday for a spot in the tournament final. Now, moving over to your world of tennis, Serena Williams will face sister Venus Williams in the second round of the WTA Top Seed Open Tournament tournament taking place in Kentucky, USA. And now the world number 9 Serena beat lowly ranked Bernarda Pera in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-4 and 6-1 in a time of 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now Venus beat Victoria Azarenka in straight sets, 6-3 and 6-2, and this WTA tournament is the first to be played in the US since the COVID-19 pandemic brought all tennis in the country to a halt earlier this year. Now that's a recap of your latest in the sport. Now moving over to Kukle Adams with what's happening with the weather.
Thank you so much, Ralph, for the sports update. Now, we've probably lost count on the number of days we have been in lockdown, but one thing is for sure is that we continue basking in the beauty of our country with your sunrise pictures captured from across our land. Ulesedi Inazo came through with this spectacular sunrise picture from Tigane Northwest. You start off the morning on a chilly 2 degrees. However, the sun will make an appearance at a maximum of 23 degrees. Geraldine Flatwell is serving us views with the sunrise picture captured in Fishhoek. It's going to be a rainy day. Thank you, Lisedi and Geraldine, for your sunrise pictures. Make sure to keep them coming, keep them flowing on our social media platforms. We love seeing them. Now, high winds and torrential rain on the New South Wales South Coast in Australia in the past few days have resulted in a spectacular sight. Waterfalls in the Royal National Park being blown in reverse. Meteorologists say this occurs when high winds come off the ocean and hit the cliffs, forcing the water back up waterfalls. The Royal National Park south of Sydney saw wind gusts of up to 74 kilometers an hour. Severe storms and torrential rain have battered Sydney and the south coast of New South Wales in recent days. The weather resulted in this spectacular sight rarely seen. The park is characterized by coastal cliffs, secluded beaches and eucalyptus-rich bushland with trails crisscrossing the terrain. But now bringing it closer to home with our temperatures for the rest of the country, starting off at Polokwane at a low of 5 degrees, reaching a high of 27. Mbombela 10-26 are your temperatures for the day. Pretoria, your temperatures range from 6 degrees, reaching a high of 25. A sunny day in Johannesburg at a maximum of 23 degrees. Also very sunny in Mahikeng today at a maximum of 27 degrees. Klerksdorp, you start off the morning on 0, reaching an afternoon temperature of 25. Kimberley in the Big Hole, -1. is the start of the day, reaching a high of 19. Bloemfontein is also below 0 at -2 with a maximum temperature of 18 degrees. A partly cloudy day in Richards Bay at a low of 12 degrees and a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg 6-20. Partly cloudy for South Africa's Playground Durban 13-22. Mthatha down in the Eastern Cape 7-22. Scooting over to East London, your minimum for the day is 11 degrees, reaching a maximum of 21. Cradock 1-22. The Friendly City Port Elizabeth 11 is your low and will reach a high of 19. George, your minimum temperature for the day is 10 degrees with an afternoon temperature of 20. Cape Town 30% rain today at a low of 12 degrees, reaching a high of 15. 25% precipitation in Worcester with a minimum of 7, reaching a high of 13. Sutherland -1.8 and Uppington -1 with an afternoon temperature of 20 degrees. Now remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day and keep it locked right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show as we give you some tips and tricks on homeschooling.
Thank you very much, Teacher Adams. We really appreciate that. Yes, as we do continue the conversation around homeschooling or distance learning or remote learning, depending on which way you like to see it. And we do this with specialist high school maths tutor Brad Taylor. Now, he's here to provide some tips from an educator's perspective on how best to handle and approach this entire new normal when it comes to learning and education for our children, as well as the challenging circumstances that parents now find themselves in.
And if social media comments that we've seen are anything to go by, parents are finding themselves in really challenging circumstances. But of course, Brad is a father of 3, so of course he can relate. And of course, he's also a life coach and an independent facilitator at Parenting the Love and Logic Way curriculum. Of course, Brad, it's so good to have you with us. Good morning.
Morning. Lovely to be with you guys.
Brad, quickly before we start, how old are your kids?
Danny's 8, Mia's 6, and Jed is 4.
Okay,
that fits with being a math teacher.
Nice spread across the spectrum there. now, Brad, should parents worry about their child falling behind during this time?
I think for some parents, they are doing exceptionally well with their kids, and if anything, need to cut themselves a little bit of slack and enjoy a bit of time for play amidst the hard graft. But as a generalization from at least the work I'm doing with teenagers, I think that teenagers are in some ways given too much free time. I think it's not uncommon to see a teenager gaming, binging the latest series, or on social media till 12 a.m., maybe 2 a.m., waking up at about 12 noon sluggishly to begin the day. So I would be concerned. I think the important thing there is the need to just set up collaborative boundaries and systems and structures with kids.
It really is a challenging time, I think, for parents as well. And we spoke about parents doing a juggling act earlier. But what do you do then with a parent who's already overwhelmed with, financial stresses and work pressures and keeping their kids safe? And now, of course, the burden of having to make sure that their kids are learning at the same time. What words do you have to share with those parents who are feeling overwhelmed?
I think a key thing is to view yourself and engage with your kids as a family unit team. And so not just letting one or two people carry all the weight for grafting hard with work and cooking and cleaning and paying bills, etc., but actually helping your children to see that we're a team in doing this. And so a really fun, practical way that we try and do it as a family is have star charts where all five of us, parents included, have come up with our own things that we would like to do to add value, habits that we're trying to form. At the end of a week, we have a little token shop and we get tokens for what we've done. And we've done it before lockdown, but through this time, it's quite a fun way to actually have everyone in the household contributing and appreciating that. I think part of it as well is in this unique time to allow yourself the grace and the freedom to cull some things that you maybe don't have the time, the money, the headspace for, that just expectations in this time need to get adjusted and realigned.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point that you're making there, Brad, because even the best laid plans can sometimes just come to naught, because burnout is an actual factor that we need to consider, because parents are now working and taking care of the financial side of home, keeping the home clean, making sure, as you said earlier on, Tubby, so that the children are protected and safe. But then on top of that, you're a teacher as well, and you're having to accommodate a curriculum and so you can very easily burn out. So how can parents help themselves to avoid burnout?
So I think one really simple thing is just the power of anticipation. I think pre-lockdown, all of us in South Africa had lots of things that we look forward to, sports events that we watched, events with our children that we went to, family holidays, all sorts of things. And so re-bringing that back into the household of either personal rhythms or rhythms as a family, that we just have things that we can start to look forward to and anticipate, even if that's on a week-by-week basis. Another thing that we've done, I'm just sharing from practical experiences, family exercise. And so going for regular cycles, walks, we have boot camp with the kids running around us, something new that I haven't done before. That goes across extended family. We've got WhatsApp groups with Zoom calls or exercise we're doing together. Another one which I think people sometimes overlook is dating your partner creatively and intentionally. So my wife and I come up with 75 date ideas that you can largely do at home. Lots of fun things just to add a bit of extra zest to the otherwise lockdown feeling. Building a fort while you're watching a movie, learning about a new culture, and then cooking a meal and talking about it at the end of the week. Every night before supper, we jump on Just Dance on YouTube and for 5 minutes do a dance together, the five of us. So those are just some practical ways. Another great one to infuse energy for yourself is to practice the habit of gratitude. And so through this lockdown period, one thing that I've done is a gratitude experiment of just trying to express appreciation to about 300 people on my email and phone contact list, and I found it absolutely invigorating amidst these times. So those are just a couple of things.
There are so many of them, but of course, Brad, the one thing I have to ask you is when you do have a chance, while you and your family are dancing around, when you do have that interactive, collaborative period with your family, do take videos and share them with us. How about that?
If I'm daring, if you're daring.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much, Brad. Great tips there from you to our viewers, and I know that they would appreciate it so much. In fact, if you'd like to reach Brad and ask for some more advice, maybe share in his wealth of wisdom, then you can reach him at bradtaylor'semail@gmail.com. And I think probably one of the most important things to take from this conversation is to cut yourself some slack. You know what I mean? You're not an experienced maths teacher. You're not like Uncle Tabsy cutting the figure of a very fine English lecturer who could just run circles around Shakespeare.
And it's not for everyone.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone can do it, but everyone can try. That's what I said. But there you have it, some good tips from Brad Taylor, of course, who is a high school maths tutor. And hopefully all of those tips do help share with us some of your ideas as well on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3.
You had a lesson prep from me?
Yes.
On grammar.
Okay.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
The Feel Good continues. Now, Durban-born Karishma Bastey is an actress, TV presenter, model, yoga instructor, and recently added mom to that list after giving birth to her oh-so-adorable daughter in May this year. Now, we're so excited to welcome Karishma to the Expresso show to tell us more about how she and baby are doing. Karishma, good morning. Great to have you on the show this morning. How have you been, darling?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I always love being on the show. I've been so good. Wow, what a whirlwind.
Clearly looking very good. I mean, how do you look like that after just giving birth? The glow up is real. Mom, life clearly suits you very well.
Oh, thank you so much. I have an incredible daughter and I have an incredible husband. So those two things combined just help me to shine and thrive in motherhood, I suppose.
Check. Speaking about that, you gave birth to your beautiful baby girl, Isla Oceano, earlier this year. What was that whole process of giving birth like, especially now during a world pandemic? Take us through that entire process.
Well, I felt very blessed because from the beginning I had planned a home birth with a private midwife. So we were all set up. So kind of the fear surrounding COVID and going into hospitals and not being able to have your partner or your doula or whoever with you was not part of our story, thank goodness. Isla actually arrived about 2 weeks earlier, which was totally unexpected because everyone was telling me, oh, first babies actually arrive.
They take a time,
that's the norm, that kind of, so we were so chilled. We were like, oh, we still have time. And, babies arrive when they want to arrive. And Isla arrived about 2 weeks early. And I gave birth on the 13th of May after 26 hours of labor at home. So it was quite a journey, quite an initiation into motherhood, I must say.
You just said 26 hours and my heart went like, oh, wow, bless you. But I want to speak about that name, Isla. It's a very uncommon name. What is the meaning behind that name?
So we went through a lot of names, to be honest, and we wanted something that was different, something that spoke to nature, spoke to us, spoke to the essence of what we would like our daughter, to embody one day. So Isla, it means moon glow or the halo of the moon. And then Océane is French because her daddy's French, and that means ocean. And ocean is a big part of both of our lives. So, yeah.
Oui, merci. Speaking about nature, we also know you're a lover of yoga and you're a qualified yoga instructor. How much has yoga, helped both before and even after your pregnancy journey?
Oh, wow. Yoga helped tremendously. I had a super active pregnancy, a really amazing pregnancy. So, we traveled, I was surfing at 5 months pregnant, I was doing it all. But towards the end, Isla was really big inside of me. My belly was huge. Even though I didn't put on any other weight like anywhere else, my belly was really huge, especially for my size. So yoga was really one of the only things that I could do and provided me with so much relief. And then even during labor, a lot of the yoga poses helped me so much during all the contractions. My breath from yoga helped me so much. And a lot of meditation that comes with the yoga practice helped me so much. And even now, postpartum, my recovery was really amazing. And that's, I think, the benefits of having a natural home birth. But still, things are quite stiff and kind of settling into this new body. And yoga has just helped me so much, just to ease into things.
Amazing. And then, of course, how do you balance it all? Work, motherhood, finding time to breastfeed, finding time to do yoga. How does it all just fit into one?
Basically, my child rules my life, as it should be. We call her the little boss or the CEO. So things kind of really revolve around her. I'm breastfeeding, I feed on demand. We're really trying to be present and in tune with what her needs are instead of us trying to, fit our lives around things. We fit our lives around her. So each day is really different, but it's very important to me to make time for myself. And thank goodness I have an incredible husband who's so hands-on. So there are those moments where I just, give her to him and say, okay, I'm going to spend half an hour even on my mat, meditating or doing yoga, or if we're cooking, we're in the kitchen together and we kind of play past the baby. I'm chopping something, he's holding the baby. If he's frying something, I'm holding the baby, and that's how it is. We just make it work, we make it flow, and I think that's the best way to approach things, because everyone in a relationship needs their time. My husband needs his time alone, I need my time alone, we both need time with baby, but ultimately she is the number one priority.
Absolutely, serving us gold, and you're really such an inspiration to so many women out there. Of course, it is Women's Month this August. What advice would you give to other women, who aspire to be an actress like yourself, a mom, and do it all?
First of all, you can. I would say just, believe in yourself, trust in your magic, and just know that your magic is individual to you. As women, we often fall into this trap of comparing ourselves to others or, someone else's happiness. Just tune into your magic and know that you can only bring your particular brand of magic to the table. And there's definitely room around the table for all of us. And if there isn't, sister, I will make a spot for you.
Karishma, who are you? I feel like we should be best friends. Thank you so much for your time this morning. There is a spot at this table for you indeed.
Thank you. Love you guys so much.
A massive thank you to actress and presenter Karishma Baste for joining us this morning. We hope you and baby will be staying safe during these uncertain times. We can't wait to see your next projects.
Jamie Lee Domberg and her new bestie.
I love it.
Wonderful.
I love it.
Now, they do say that prevention is better than cure, and this is the case when it comes to immunization. The World Health Organization has recounted how, over the years, vaccines have prevented countless diseases and saved millions of lives all over the world. And as we commemorate International Youth Day today, we take a look at the importance of childhood vaccinations with the medical head of Sanofi Pasteur Vaccines, Dr. Nasiha Sufi, who joins us via video call. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Sufi. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thanks, and thank you for this opportunity.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. We want to start off by asking, how do vaccines work and why are they so important?
So vaccines are actually a medical formulation, and what this formulation contains is actually a dead form or a killed form, or you could say an attenuated form of the actual virus or bacteria that you want to protect the recipient against. So basically, when you inject the vaccine into the body, it fools the body into thinking that it is being attacked by the actual virus or the actual bacteria. And as a result, the body responds by mounting an immune response. It creates millions of antibodies. However, these antibodies are not really used because the virus or the bacteria which you had injected was not the real virus or the bacteria. And so your body is now in a sort of heightened state of awareness. And so what happens is, after the vaccine, if you happen to come across someone who's infected with the real virus or the wild virus, for instance, if you've been vaccinated against influenza and you come across a family member who's now infectious with the actual virus, and that virus is passed on to you, because you have been vaccinated and your body is ready, your antibodies are on standby, when the real virus enters into your body, you are able to neutralize the virus and thereby not fall ill.
Now, there's been a constant debate of late, especially, on whether vaccines are indeed safe, especially for babies and young children.
Yes, so it's very important to note that South Africa has some of the most strict regulations in the country when it comes to bringing in any product, any biological product into the country. And I would be safe to say that in some respects, we're actually a lot more strict than many first world countries. And so before a vaccine is actually brought into the country, you can be sure that it has been tested over decades, spanning hundreds and thousands of individuals, not only in South Africa, but across the globe. And during this time, over the decades that it is being tested, we source data on the safety of the vaccine. Is it tolerable for human consumption? Until we are convinced, then only will a vaccine be introduced into the South African market. This is not to say that there may be some minor side effects or adverse events, as you would expect with any injectable. Maybe some redness at the injection site, some swelling. There may be one or two individuals that may have a severe adverse event, but this is indeed rare.
And between which ages should children be vaccinated?
So it's important to note that vaccination is actually a cradle to grave concept. We make the mistake as a country to assume that vaccination is only for children. But actually, vaccination can start, in fact, even before the cradle. So vaccination is important even for pregnant mothers to protect their fetus, to protect themselves. All the way to the grave. So it is a concept which we need to understand has to occur throughout our lifespan, from pregnancy through to birth. Toddlers require vaccination, adolescents, adults, and the elderly.
Oh, Dr. Sufi, thank you very much for joining us. A really succinct explanation on the topic of vaccines, and it's quite an important one for us, of course, to understand, especially given the times that we are living in right now. But you at home, do make sure that you stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show, as Dr. Nasia Sufi will be answering all of your questions on childhood vaccinations. Send those through to us on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. That's where you can find us on Facebook.
Welcome back, you beautiful people, to your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're live right here on SABC3 on this beautiful Wednesday morning. But of course, in most parts of the country, it's cold and it's wet in most parts of the country, including where we are right now in Cape Town. And that means it's the perfect time for a comforting and warming bowl of plant-based goodness. Any time is a good time for that. But of course, on the menu today is our vegan power-packed chickpea coconut curry. It's loaded with Be Well canola oil and vegetables galore. And this recipe is completely meat-free, which is fantastic for people going on a meat-free break. It takes 15 minutes to prep and it will feed the entire family. It will feed the entire family. And Teresa Alyate is showing us exactly how to bring that to life. My girl, Teresa Alyate, I have missed you.
Oh,
Together again. Oh, man, I've missed our little dancing here and there.
I know, but anyway,
I've been
back.
so inspired, though, just following you on social media and seeing you here and there, just bringing us some really inspiring recipes. And it seems today you're on the same mission.
Yes, I've been cooking a lot during lockdown and keeping busy.
You did say that we're coming out of lockdown stronger, we're coming out smarter, but we're also coming out with lots of recipes as well.
Absolutely. And this is definitely one to try. As you said, very quick, great for the family and nutritious, lots of veggies. It's a good one.
Let's go.
So should we start?
Let's go.
So we're going to start with our Be Well canola oil. So pop that into your pot.
All right.
Okay, and then we're going to add some delicious ingredients. We're going to add some onions.
Yep. You know you're off to a good start. I mean, I'm sure people will agree with me. You know you're off to a good start when you're making anything and you start with onion.
Exactly, and garlic.
Onion and garlic, then you know. It's already delicious before it's done, right?
Absolutely. Some fresh chili as well.
Yeah.
So just cook that off and let your onions get nice and brown. That's smelling great.
Oh, can you smell that?
Are you making this for dinner tonight, Shabdi?
Well, you know, you are making it, and I have plenty scuffteens all over the place here. So I'm going to be packing quite a bit when no one's watching.
Yeah. All right, so let that cook off for a couple of minutes.
Great.
And then we're going to add some more aromatics for some curry leaves. Let those get nice and crispy. Some mustard seeds. And of course, when those hit the oil, they release all their beautiful flavors.
Yeah. What I like about your selection of ingredients when it comes to this particular recipe is you really have chosen some really strong aromas coming through here. They really do appetize one before you even eat the meal.
Absolutely,
Hey?
absolutely. It's going to be so much flavor.
Yep.
I've added some fresh coriander as well.
Great.
And then we're not done yet. We're going to add some paprika, some turmeric.
Oh, my favorite.
Do you like turmeric?
I love turmeric. I love turmeric because also those health properties that come with it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can imagine during this time when it's cold and wet in most parts of the country, you want to make sure that you're protecting the immune system. And let's be honest, it can get and take as much protecting as it possibly can get from anywhere.
Absolutely. Take it where you can get it.
Yeah.
So give that a good mix, and then we're going to add some tomato. This is just tinned tomato. So pantry staple, and then some coconut milk.
Great for that nice creaminess.
Creaminess and beautiful flavor. It goes so nicely with the vegetables as well. And then I'm also going to add some potato. This is just ordinary potato, but you can add sweet potato as well. You can actually mix your veggies up here in this dish.
But also what a flavoursome way to get people to really get their veggie intake.
Yes, absolutely. And they're going to absorb all that flavor.
Oh, juicy.
Which is amazing.
That sounds juicy already.
So you're going to bring that to the boil. And then once it's boiling, you lower the heat and we're going to add more veg. We're going to add our butternut.
Tell me what the trick is with butternut, because people do often get it wrong in terms of how long to really keep it going in the pot. How do you know?
So I think, well, first of all, you want to get the pieces cut into an even size, because if you have big pieces and small pieces, they're all going to cook differently. But you want to go for about 30 to 40 minutes. So let it simmer, put the lid on, and then just keep checking it and use a sharp knife, just pierce it and see when it's done.
And is slow cooked always better?
In this case, you don't want to have it boiling away furiously because all your liquid's going to disappear and your veggies won't be cooked. So just keep an eye on it, and you can also top it up with water. So if you see it's getting a little bit low, top it up, keep those veggies covered.
Especially if it's going to go for a while, right?
Yeah, but you could use aubergine, you could use courgettes, I mean anything that you have. I'm also going to add some peas. Green beans are also great.
I have been having so much peas in the last, I mean, while I've been on a break. I mean, I haven't had this many peas. Is it pea season? Teresa, what's happening?
I don't know, maybe it's something that you're into at the moment.
Because that's insane. I promise you, like the lady that helps me out at home and obviously helps with the cooking as well.
Yes.
Every evening for the last 16 days, I've had peas in a meal.
Maybe she thinks you need some more greens or not having enough.
Thank you, Leafy, for that.
So just let that simmer about 40 minutes. You add your peas towards the end of the cooking time because they don't need a lot of time to cook. And then you serve it with your rice or your naan bread, top it with some fresh coriander.
And
Beautiful.
look at what this looks like
Doesn't
in the
it look
end when it's
amazing?
all done. Well, if you are inspired, please do go onto our website. It's expressoshow.com and you'll get this recipe, of course, together with all the ingredients. Of course, it's brought to life by our lovely Be Well canola oil, endorsed by the Heart and Stroke Foundation South Africa. But of course, as if Wednesday couldn't be any more of a win already, we're about to announce our latest winner in our Be Well hashtag Switch to Canola competition. It's been such a fun competition, and we asked our viewers how winning a year's supply of Be Well canola oil would be amazing for you and your family, and it would be amazing. And so, ladies and gents, a huge congratulations to Aliyah Ahmed from KZN. Come on, a big round of applause. Oh yes. Oh, she came through heavy on that competition. This is what Aliyah said. She said, my husband lost his job to COVID-19. I have cancer, diabetes and asthma. Patients in the form of my kids and myself. And we cannot afford to buy canola oil to live a healthy lifestyle. So canola can help me in so many ways with this win. And I thought that really warmed my heart, Teresa, to see that it's going to a household where it's so much needed.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
so
That's
needed. It's so fantastic. But of course, we've got Aliyah on the line. Aliyah, good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations, my lovely lady, on winning this fantastic competition.
Thank you so much.
Aliyah, you've got to tell us, how does winning this prize make you feel? And of course, what does it mean for you and your family? Of course, we did read that lovely, heartfelt entry message there.
This win means hope to my family. During these trying times, we now can afford to make healthy meals and prevent more unforeseen health issues from occurring. So basically, it means hope for us.
And Aliyah, we understand that your son is incredibly talented. I mean, he is, according to what I've seen and heard, he's an incredibly talented artist, and he's created an artwork that is perfect for this competition. Tell us more about it.
This piece is titled Flowing of Hope. It was created by my 19-year-old son, who is a self-taught artist, many years ago. And this was one of the very first pieces to sell that gave us hope during our trying times. He currently creates artworks and sells them as an income to help us during this time and give us hope. And winning the Be Well Canola Oil competition has given us hope to stay healthy and to enjoy our meals even more.
Aliyah, this is fantastic, and he is so, so talented. Teresa and I are looking at the pictures, and everybody in studio here is looking as the pictures go. We wish you and all of your, obviously your family members, all the best, and hopefully that this prize can go a really long way for you. Congratulations, and all the best to you and your family.
Thank you.
Of course, what a beautiful, beautiful message there from Aliyah. Teresa, this is going to go a really long way, and it's so amazing to see that people find hope in this way, right?
Absolutely.
And for those of you at home who thought that you've missed out, well, think again. It's the final day of our hashtag Switch to Canola competition, and we still have one last year-long supply of canola oil up for grabs, and all you have to do is reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter page and tell us 3 things you love about Be Well canola oil. There are a lot of things to love about it, but give us 3 of those things, and remember to use the hashtag Switch to Canola. And this week's competition will close at midnight tonight, so make sure that you get entering and get your last chance to win right in there. Of course, T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. Teresa, this is fantastic. I can't wait to taste, but of course, if anybody missed the steps on how to make this, take a look at this. love, food, life.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a Wednesday morning, midway through the week and we are continuing our health topic chat this morning with our expert, Dr. Nasiha Sufi, who is the medical head for Sanofi Pasteur Vaccines, and is still with us, of course, answering all of your burning questions around childhood vaccinations. And we'd like to thank, of course, every one of you who sent through questions on social media. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to catch us on our social media platforms regarding these. Let's quickly tackle the first call. We've got Aniba, I believe, who is on the line. Good morning, Aniba.
Morning, Katlego.
Fantastic. Where are you calling us from, Aniba?
I'm calling from Fishhook.
From Fishhook. All right. Well, you're live on air and the doctor is listening in. What is your question?
My question is, I didn't vaccinate my child at the recommended time. So is it too late to catch up?
All right, doctor.
That's a very good question. So it's important to remember that the vaccination schedule which you receive when your child is born is not only a timetable. It's actually a scientific formula in that these timelines are carefully calculated as to when is the most appropriate time to administer a vaccine, such that when the vaccine is most needed by the child, as well as when the response to the vaccine will be most optimal. So we strongly recommend that you try as best as possible to adhere to the recommended times. However, some of your immunizations have been delayed. The worst decision to take would be to abstain from vaccination entirely. If you've missed a few vaccines, work very swiftly with your healthcare provider, depending on your special case, on what we call is a catch-up schedule. And the doctor will then work out a catch-up schedule for you based on which vaccines you have missed and when you need to come in order to attain them.
Fantastic, Aniba. Thank you for the call, and thank you, doctor, as well.
Much for that.
Excellent. Have a good day.
We have more questions, Doctor, from our social media platforms. This one comes from Melissa. She says, Dear Expresso, could you help find out if the usually scheduled government vaccination that would take place at schools for grade 4 girls will still go ahead this year?
So Melissa is likely referring to the HPV vaccine, which I know is an immunization program currently being carried out for female children at schools nationwide, and that is sponsored by our government. Currently, there is no guidance with regard to that immunization program.
All right. Another question that came through from Norma Parker saying, hi, I'm not sure if COPD, but I'm assuming that she was referring to COVID. So let's go with that. Saying that I'm a COVID patient and had injections for flu and pneumonia in November of 2019. Is it possible that these injections saved me when I had the coronavirus in June?
This is a good question. So this patient has what we call chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, it's very important to note that vaccination is critical for everyone. Like I had mentioned earlier, it is a cradle to grave concept. These vaccines protect against some very severe, fatal, debilitating illnesses, such as meningococcal meningitis, influenza, as our correspondent had mentioned. And influenza kills 12,000 South Africans each and every year. So especially for individuals who have underlying medical conditions, such as COPD, asthma, even patients who have heart disease, diabetes, and so forth, these individuals are at an increased risk of acquiring an infectious pathogen, for instance, like influenza. And if they do get the infection, not only are they more susceptible to getting it, but they are going to get a severe form of the infection, which is why it is absolutely critical that such patients, such COPD patients, as mentioned in this case, are totally up to date with all vaccines, and not only those protecting against influenza and specifically respiratory pathogens, but for all vaccines. Yes, to her point, it is absolutely critical that she is vaccinated, because not only is she at an increased risk of acquiring a vaccine preventable disease, but she may likely be at an increased risk of acquiring coronavirus. So what she has done is she's protected herself against those illnesses for which we do have a vaccine, such that she is not further susceptible to a co-infection. In this patient, the worst case scenario is that she acquires a vaccine preventable disease. Superimposed on that, she gets the coronavirus infection, and that would certainly spell disaster.
Yeah.
Such an insightful conversation,
Absolutely.
Doctor, and very important questions from our viewers as well.
Yeah, and my apologies to Norma for misreading your condition there as COPD. But thank you very much to Dr. Sufi for wonderful, wonderful insights, and for your time as well. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, there we go. Dr. Sufi joining us on the line there to give us her take on childhood vaccination and immunization, as today we look toward International Youth Day that we are commemorating and looking around all kinds of ways in which we can better equip ourselves with knowledge to protect ourselves from diseases in all kinds of ways. And hopefully you found that conversation insightful as well. But right now, time for some entertainment. Demone, what you got?
Okay, I got something special for you indeed. Of course, it being Youth Day, and we've catched up with Rhythm House, and of course they boast an exceptional department when it comes to music. So we thought I'd catch up with my man Cameron out here. How you doing, brother? Cameron McDonald, you're all awesome. You're going to do something incredible with us this morning. Well, I've got to ask, man, being on this big stage, so nervous. How old are you firstly, man?
Well, I'm 14.
14 years old, that's incredible. And what kind of music do you enjoy playing? I see you obviously on the piano, you're on the keys, but what really gets you going?
To be honest, I actually like lots of different types of music. I also play the guitar, so I like to play the guitar as well. Yeah,
no
I like to do pretty much like every type of genre. Yeah.
Anything that's good, I love that, man. So listen, I got to ask you one more question. If you had the opportunity to play a headline act for your favorite artist, who would it be?
That's hard. Probably Bruno Mars, maybe.
Ooh, Bruno Mars. I heard you playing him earlier, but I also know that you're going to be playing one of my favorite songs. It's John Legend. It's Ordinary People. So Cameron McDonald, take it away, my man. Enjoy.
Infatuation phase. Not after making love. Times we get sick of love. Seems like we argue every day. I know I misbehave and you made your mistakes, and we still got so much left to learn. And though when times get rough, I still put you first. And though I know that but I think we should take it slow. We're just ordinary people. We don't have nowhere to go. Take it slow, 'cause we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, no, yeah, this time we'll take it slow. Take it slow, no, yeah. Take it slow.
Oh man, that was absolutely incredible, guys. I have to reveal a secret to you. Literally a minute before Cameron performed the song, he was actually going to do a Bruno Mars, and he said, I'm going to switch it up. I'm doing something different. No warm-up whatsoever, man. You absolutely nailed it, guys. Give it a round of applause. Cameron McDonald in the building. Ordinary people. Oh, brilliant stuff, man. Brilliant stuff. Take a bow, my man. Take a bow. Beautiful, man.
Thank you. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. What a treat here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Expresso live on ABC3. I mean, how was that performance?
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh, man.
That innocence and his voice, just beautiful, Cameron.
What a voice, what a voice. And of course, you can catch it all right here. Still coming, more of your favorite jams coming your way. Of course, every year, though, on the 12th of August, the world celebrates International Youth Day. It's a big thing. And the theme for this year is Youth Engagement for Global Action, which highlights the ways in which the young people of this world can make positive contributions to the world we live in. And there's so much we can do. But of course, education does play a massive role in helping youth make changes in society. And the Answer series recently launched free video content for all grade 12 learners who have had their matric year disrupted by the coronavirus. And CEO George Eddy joins us now via video call to tell us more. George, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Tabiso and Jamie Lee. Great to be here.
Lovely having with you this morning for International Youth Day. But talk us through, the motivation for creating, and let me add that it is free videos, specifically for grade 12 learners.
The motivation was clear. Coronavirus was upon us. Everyone had to go home. And we knew that teachers were going to have to start the process of creating videos for their learners. And we thought, we've got a lot of resources that we can put to the challenge. Let's create the best videos that we could possibly create to support teachers and learners who haven't been able to get their normal teaching time to support their study. And more we know now that independent learning has become a crucial aspect of getting through this grade 12 year. So this means that with the book and the video, the learner can act on their own.
I think that this is such an incredible initiative, really such a much needed intervention as well. But of course, the content is free. Then the question then is, what are some of the subjects that you focus on that people can find on this platform?
Thank you. So the subjects are mathematics, and within that subject and within all the subjects, we focus on the hardest topics in grade 12. So we really nailed in on the challenging ones like analytical geometry, functions, polynomials, calculus, and finance. For those of you who finished Matric, you'll know that those are subjects. Yeah. Maths, lit, finance within that component. Within life sciences, evolution is the focus there. Within physical sciences, it's energy and power, the Doppler effect, rate and extent of reaction, chemical equilibrium, and acids and bases. There's also physische wetenskappen. And then within economics, there's a focus on microeconomics, which is the most challenging aspect for most learners.
George, I have to say, I finished Matric, but even all those names just made me feel like, oh my word, what is all of this?
We're all twitching,
We're like,
hearing you list all of those subjects and areas of focus.
But George, who are the specialists in the videos, and do they focus on, the current curriculum?
Absolutely. So the South African curriculum was established some years ago, but most textbooks haven't been able to maintain their sort of staying up to date. With the Answer series, we invest millions of rands every year to make sure our books and our content is really up to date. And so part of that is employing authors, many of whom are part and parcel of the end-of-year examination marking teams. So they know exactly what the examinations are about, where learners are really struggling at the end of the year, and where they're, what enables them to succeed, and that's informing our content every year. And those authors are involved in creating the videos.
I think around this time of the year, George, so many matrics across the country are looking at ways to really just amp up and ramp up on what educational tools they can find. But they're probably asking themselves the question right now, where and how they can access these videos.
So theanswer.co.za, if you just go to our website, theanswer.co.za, you'll find it all there. And, some of you in the audience will already remember, even people older than I am, the Answer series having got you through back then. I know a lot of grade 12 learners right now are sitting with a lot of fear. The whole drive behind all our content is to boost confidence within the learner. So go to the Answer series. You've only got one more chance to nail your matric. Go with something that's been reliable for many, many years, in fact, since 1975. And we wish you the absolute best for getting through and setting up the rest of your life, as you spoke before, about making that contribution that is your destiny to make as a young person in South Africa.
And you have all these tools here now available as well.
Absolutely, and I love that positivity and that message. But maybe as it is International Youth Day today and Youth Worldwide, and a lot of people still feels overwhelmed with what's going on globally, with the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe you can just leave us with some words of encouragement for the youth of today.
Sure, thank you. In preparation for this call, one of the messages I would have loved to have delivered, and I love that you've given me the opportunity, is that one of the things that gives us a lot of stress is to forget that there's a place inside all of us that is beyond all of that, that's deeper than all of that. So even though on the outside we might be having stresses with our relationship, we might be having stresses with our studies, we might be thinking, I'm fearful about the exams, the deeper we can have that relationship with our inner place, that place when we're halfway through our matric exam and we can have that breath and remember of the strength, the courage.
That is George Eddy, of course, the CEO of the Answer series. There seems to be a bit of a challenge with his line there, but of course the message is loud and clear. Tap into your inner self, your inner skills, your inner abilities, because you have so many of them, and there's so much that the world is waiting out there to explore and experience that you have to give. So focus on what you need to focus on right now. But of course, all of that information and the resources are available on theanswer.co.za. Do explore their website as well as their social media channels and have fun. Good luck, Matrix.
It's just gone 1 minute past 8 o'clock. Here's a last look at the news headlines on this Wednesday morning. On the national news front, the non-profit organization Gift of the Givers has donated 1 million rand towards relief for victims of the Beirut blast. Lebanon's capital city was rocked by an enormous blast at its port last week that killed more than 160 people and injured some 6,000. The foundation has since distributed food, clothing and medical supplies. The founder of Gift of the Givers Foundation, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, said that under normal circumstances, they would have sent in a search and rescue team, but due to a surge in coronavirus infections in South Africa, they were unable to do so. In other news, COSATU yesterday said it supported calls to lift the ban on the sale of alcohol, provided that regulations ensuring responsible drinking were implemented. COSATU said it had met with liquor producers and requested them to come up with a plan that addressed the concerns of health authorities and workers. Spokesperson Sizwe Pamela said they were also requesting the cigarette industry to suggest solutions for the ban on the sale of tobacco products to be lifted. Pamela said that while they supported the protection of lives, livelihoods should also be prioritized. On the international news front, New Zealand has put its largest city back into lockdown after recording 4 new COVID-19 cases, ending a 102-day run without a local infection. A 3-day lockdown was swiftly imposed in Auckland after the cases were confirmed. The 4 new cases are all members of a single family. None had travelled recently, and the restrictions will come into effect today as authorities scramble to trace contacts with the family. New Zealand has fared better than other countries, recording 1,220 confirmed cases and 22 deaths since the virus arrived there in late February. Now, Egypt's Civil Aviation Minister Mohammed Manar has said that after Lebanon's massive explosion last week, it was moving all dangerous materials held at airports nationwide to more secure locations. The minister said it was taking precautionary measures by either immediately releasing them or transferring them to safe storage spaces well outside the range of airports and residential areas. A committee would conduct a comprehensive evaluation of all procedures applied as inside the storage areas in order to address any risks before they arise, he said. And now some good news regarding the world's most trafficked mammal. In a world first for the endangered Temminck's ground pangolin, a reintroduction program has been launched to release the species where they became locally extinct decades ago in KZN. Now, in Manyoni Private Game Reserve in Zululand is working closely with the African Pangolin Working Group, HSI Africa and the Johannesburg Wildlife Veterinary Hospital to rehome pangolins rescued from the wildlife trade. Pangolins are the world's most trafficked mammal, and their scales are highly sought after by poachers. Pangolins don't have vocal cords. Their only defense is to roll into a ball and lie very still. Sadly, this makes them extremely vulnerable to ruthless poachers. However, there are people fighting this trade with everything at their disposal. Survivors treated at the Johannesburg Wildlife Vet Hospital receive intensive care and are nursed back to health by a dedicated team, and they're then moved to a suitable reserve like Manyoni, where the soft release process begins. The good news is that the Zululand Conservation Trust has dedicated a large sum of conservation funds for the protection, rehabilitation and monitoring of these adorable little creatures. And finally, taking another quick look at what's happening in the world of entertainment. Amidst personal drama and while being on a family getaway, American rapper Kanye West has launched what appears to be his campaign website and shared 10 items of his presidential plans on the platform. These include restoring prayer in the classroom, restoring a sound national economy, and giving importance to creativity and the arts. Now, under each of the 10 points outlined by the rapper, a Bible verse is included. The site comes to being as the Washington Post has reported on how Kanye's bid is being bolstered across several states by Republican operatives, some of whom have worked for President Donald Trump. And that's it for the news this morning. Let's take one last look at what's happening on the sporting fields with Ryle.
Thank you so much, Kat. Now for a final look at the latest in our sports, starting off with the soccer. The Premier League clash between defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates ended in a goalless draw at the Dobsonville Stadium last night. Now 1 point now takes the Buccaneers to third place on the standings, leaving them 4 points behind Masanduana in second place. Now there will be one PSL fixture this evening with table toppers Kaizer Chiefs taking on Bidvest Wits at the Orlando Stadium from 6 p.m. Now sticking with soccer and in the Europa League Championships, action continued last night with Seville and Shakhtar Donetsk booking their spots in the tournament semi-finals. The Spanish side Seville left it late to beat Wolves 1-0 to set up a semi-final against Manchester United on Sunday. And the Ukrainian side Shakhtar Donetsk thrashed Basel 4-1 and will face Inter Milan on Monday for a spot in the tournament final. And now moving over to our world of tennis, where Serena Williams will face sister Venus Williams in the second round of the WTA Top Seed Open tournament, taking place in Kentucky, USA. And now the world number 9, Serena, beat lowly ranked Bernarda Pera in 3 sets, 4-6, 6-4, and 6-1 in a time of 2 hours and 15 minutes. And Venus beat Victoria Azarenka in straight sets, 6-3 and 6-2. And this WTA tournament is the first to be played in the US since the COVID-19 pandemic brought all tennis in that country to a halt earlier this year. Now that's the latest and the last of our recap for sport. Let's find out what's happening with the latest in the weather with Kukla Adams.
Let's take this opportunity to look at your sunrise pictures one more time this morning. We started off in Tembisa with Digeledi, who shared the stinging sunrise. Your part of the country will have cool conditions today at a maximum of 23 degrees. We moved over to Gershwin's Hood in Pretoria, Gauteng, with this murky sunrise picture. A sunny day is coming your way at a maximum of 26. Ulisedi Inaza came through with this spectacular sunrise picture from Etigane Northwest. You started off the morning on a chilly 2 degrees, but you will have a maximum temperature of 23 degrees. And finally, Geraldine Flatwell is serving us views with this picture taken in Fishhook. It's going to be a rainy day in your part of the town at 76% precipitation. Thank you so much for your sunrise pictures. We absolutely love seeing them, so make sure to keep them going, keep them flowing on our social media platforms using the hashtag Expresso Show. High winds and torrential rain on the New South Wales south coast in Australia in the past few days have resulted in a spectacular sight. Waterfalls in the Royal National Park being blown in reverse. Meteorologists say that this occurs when high winds come off the ocean and hit the cliffs, forcing the water back up waterfalls. The Royal National Park south of Sydney saw wind gusts of up to 74 kilometers an hour. Severe storms and torrential rain have battered Sydney and the south coast of New South Wales in recent days. The weather resulted in this spectacular sight, rarely seen. The park is characterized by coastal cliffs, secluded beaches, and eucalyptus-rich bushland with trails crisscrossing the terrain. Let's get into the final look at the temperatures for the rest of the country, starting off with Polokwane at a minimum of 5 degrees, reaching a maximum of 27. Bombela, 10, 26 are your temperatures for the day. Pretoria, your low is 6, reaching a high of 25. Sunny day so far. Also in Johannesburg, it's a sunny one for you at a maximum temperature of 23. Moving over to Emahikeng at a low of 4, reaching a high of 27. Klerksdorp, 0, 25. Looks good so far with the temperatures. Kimberley, -1 was the start of your morning. You will reach a high of 19. Bloemfontein also below 0 at -2 with a maximum temperature of 18. A partly cloudy day in Richards Bay at a low of 12 and a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg, 6:20. Durban, a partly cloudy day at 13:22. Mthatha, it's a sunny one for you at a maximum of 22 degrees. East London, right next to Mthatha, 11:21. Craddock, 1:22. Ebayi, Port Elizabeth, 11:19. And George, your low is 10 degrees and will reach a high of 20. The mother city, Cape Town, 30% rain at a minimum of 12 degrees, reaching a high of 15. Worcester, 7:13. And Sutherland, -1 with a high of 8 degrees. Uppington, your low is -1, reaching a maximum temperature of 20. That was a final look at the weather this morning. Make sure to send us your sunrise pictures from your part of the country on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. Now remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
And it certainly is a feel-good kind of day. In fact, class is in session. I know that parents may be struggling with homeschooling or alternative kind of distance learning, if you will. But class is in session in the kitchen with Chef Clem, and the hotline is open, 021-110-552. Give us a call with your culinary conundrum that's been confounding you. We'll call you back, because after the break, it's time for the culinary hotline. Bling! Ting! 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 Yes!
Are you tired of conference calls, connectivity problems, and need to go on site or be in the boardroom? Well, Mango are soaring the skies once again. As we navigate through this new normal, businesses need to recover, and Mango cares about business. For affordable and reliable business and essential travel, visit www.flymango.com. Go discover more. Go Mango. Book now. Terms and conditions apply.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone.
Culinary hotline bling.
That can only mean one thing.
It can only mean one thing when you hear that song. It means that we're back again on your feel-good breakfast show with the Culinary hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting. Ah, man. We love it. We love it. Of course, this is the part of the show where we take all of your questions, your culinary-related questions, and we answer them in the kitchen. Chef Clem, of course, is joining us this morning. Ingredients laid out, full spread, and we are ready to take on your calls. So give us a call, 021-110-552. We would love to hear from you. How excited are you that the Culinary Hotline Bling is back? And we did it the first time last week.
I am like stoked. I can't even explain it. I feel like the whole show should just be Culinary Hotline on a Wednesday.
Fuego.
Fuego. I'm just saying. 3 hours of cooking straight sounds amazing to me.
Oh, there we go. Got our first caller on the line. You want to pick it up there? Pick it up. Who is it?
Hello?
Hello? Gabriel?
Gabriel? Yes.
Hey, Gabriel from Johannesburg. How are you, Gabriel?
Okay, speaker.
Okay, can you hear me now? Very, very well, man. Thanks for the call. All right, so what is your culinary conundrum this morning?
My culinary question is, how do you make a marinade for chicken?
How do you make a marinade for chicken? Is there any particular reason? Are you cooking for friends, a family gathering?
Well, I would like to start my own business right now.
Oh, you want to start your own business? All right. Okay, all right.
I like that.
Nice. Okay, so best way of marinating chicken wings.
So I actually spoke to Gabriel a little earlier, and he said specifically chicken wings.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because chicken wings are the most forgiving part of a chicken, hands down. And you know why?
Because I don't know why.
It's because of the ratio of fat to meat. It's got a lot of fat in it, so it doesn't dry out as quickly as a breast would.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
yes.
And the meat around the wing, I don't know if you know this, chickens can't fly.
Chickens can't fly, this is true. So, unless if you're talking about kgogo ya motebelo, which can run at high speeds, and at some point its legs can actually lift off the ground a little bit. It's called kgogo ya motebelo. It's got a little bit of spit hanging out on the side.
No, that's all.
No, I'm serious. It goes like
a secretary bird.
And then no. It's kgogo ya motebelo. It's like the chicken that kids chase on the farm, and they go and then the chicken's like running around trying to get away from them.
Don't do that. But
it's a fun sport.
I dig it. It does sound cool, like Rocky, like you're trying to catch a chicken. I dig it. Okay, but however, chickens can't fly, so that those muscles aren't really being used.
Yeah.
So it's super tender. And the good thing about that is you don't need to marinate chicken wings for that long. But I'm going to give you a good marinade that you can marinate your chicken breast, chicken thighs, chicken drums, and it'll work.
Okay.
Let's start off with the first one so I can get into the oil. What I did was, I want to be a little bit different. We've all had chicken wings, and like, get creative. It depends where you're from. I love curry, and I'm obsessed with curries right now.
Yes.
So I made a curry spice chicken wing. Something a bit different, especially if you want to start a business. The key thing is to be unique, because your neighbor might be making chicken wings. What's making you different from your neighbor to play with it? Use different flavors, ingredients to make your chicken wings different. What I did, super simple. Chicken wings, always free range. Always free range. Be the difference. Make sure the quality, the product that you use is always next level. So free range is a must. Then I've got some curry paste. Play around with it. Go Thai, go Indian. This is a korma curry paste. You can buy this in bulk. Go to Woolies, just get a whole lot. They're super great. Play around with the flavors, get used to what used to happen. Then I rubbed it into the chicken with a little bit of...
So you take your chicken and you just kind of massage it.
Get into it. And really do get into it. You gotta really get the chicken wing coated. Then I've got this pack. We've seen this before. It's the green chili, the garlic, and the ginger. Get that on there. Ginger and garlic also tenderizes meat. So if you're looking to tenderize some chicken, that's the way you go. Cool. Get that all in there. Let that sit on your chicken for a little bit. Buttermilk. Your best friend when it comes to marinades. Whether it's pork, lamb, beef, chicken, buttermilk breaks down those proteins and tenderizes your meat. So get a bit of that on there. Let that sit. Then you set that in your fridge overnight. Tomorrow you walk into your restaurant. I'm gonna be there also. I'm gonna come visit you. You walk into your restaurant tomorrow morning. You give your marinated chicken a little dust and some flour. Get your oil going.
So that would have been the result there. Let's say if you took off the dusting of flour, that crust around it is from the marinade with the buttermilk and all these beautiful ingredients that you've just described, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a good thing is leaving it in the buttermilk brine. Being a restaurant, you keep it fresh, but if you do have any left over at the end of the day, it's still going to be fine. It can sit in there marinate all day.
Okay.
We call that staff lunch.
Good.
Absolutely. Cool. Then oil. And we're using a canola oil because it's got a high burning temperature, so it's good for deep frying.
Okay.
You're going to get that in there.
Oh, listen, Gabriel, can you hear that sound?
Can you hear that sound? Another thing that's very important is I feel like restaurants are doing the people dirty.
How?
When it comes to chicken wings.
What's happening?
They say X amount of money for 2 chicken wings, but then they give you a drum and a flat. We know that a chicken wing's made out of 3 parts. Katlego, hit it with me. Can you hit it with me? All right, you get the chicken tip.
It's here. And that's important, because that's where you start.
Don't take the chicken tip off.
No,
you
don't.
Pay for that.
You
pay for that.
I need it.
Yeah, chicken tip is on there. Then you got the flat, which has 2 bones in it.
Oh.
Yes. And then you got the drum. When you serve your chicken, if you're saying you're going to give someone...
Look at that drum.
If you're saying you're
Look at this drum. That's meaty. That's meaty
That's a turkey
right there.
Right there. That's not even chicken. That's a turkey, South Africa. It's amazing. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you say you're going to serve 1 chicken wing, please do your neighbors a favor and actually give them the whole chicken wing.
Yeah. This culture of trying to shape the chicken wing towards you. No. Give them the wing.
No.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people
them what
want.
they came for.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's the first one. That's one that you can deep fry nice and quick. So as the orders come in, you drop them into the fryer to order. Really great. I love that one.
Done.
Another one, super simple. We're not going to deep fry this one. We're going to take a little oriental. Again, just make it your own. Absolutely. I'm just giving you a few variations.
Yeah.
Okay. Soy sauce going in. Soy sauce is great because it also it marinates.
Yes.
Also acts like a brine in a sense because you've got that salt that's in there and the seasoned chicken wing at the same time. Then we can hit it with a little bit of sesame seeds.
Lovely.
Sesame seeds with a bit of that crunch. And as it goes into the oven, these are going to go into the oven. Those sesame seeds are going to even pop.
And they're going to be like smoky toasty.
Yes, and you want that. It's absolutely you want that. Then let's not forget this, okay?
This is like the secret package. You need this.
You absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like this chili, garlic, ginger vibe.
I fell in love with this a few years ago at Christmas when literally we're standing around the table, everybody's busy cooking. You know what families are like, especially cooking families. Everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
But then there's one person that gets tasked with the job of chopping garlic. No.
The onions.
It's Christmas and it's a time of giving. Why no?
Why are you giving me smelly fingers?
This saves you, a lifesaver, absolutely. So get a little bit of that in there, a little bit of sweetness coming from your honey. And the honey, it's kind of gonna act as like when everything reduces, it's gonna go sweet and sticky and tender, and you just want that. Food, by the way, if you go to a restaurant, what I absolutely love about food is like food theater. If I'm eating food and I like my mouth is covered in the marinade, my fingers get covered.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
I'm loving it.
Especially when it comes to wings, because you usually have them in a big portion on a plate. You just want to be just.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll worry about the cleanup afterwards.
Exactly.
Look at that golden crispness that you've got going on. Gabriel, I hope you're watching this, that you're seeing this, because your question to the culinary hotline has inspired this. This is because of you, okay? Some salt on top. Oh my word.
And the color's a bit different because of that curry paste that we put on there. It's still sizzling. It's... Wow.
Oh, that is the sound of deliciousness.
It's absolutely. It sounds so good. Okay, cool. Then, this is our Asian rub. What we're going to do is pour this over our chicken wings. So again, Gabriel, this will sit in the fridge overnight. Remember, it doesn't need to because you don't need to marinate your wings. It'll sit in the fridge overnight, just absorbing all those extra flavors. When the orders come in, big rack in the oven, roasting off these delicious chicken wings. When it comes out, hit it with some more spring onions on this for a little freshness.
Yeah.
Because you eat with your eyes, especially in a restaurant, you want to make sure you garnish well. Spring onions, some red chilies, some extra sesame seeds. Gabriel, when you're opening, I'm gonna be there.
Gabriel, do you have an opening date? Do you know what you're doing? What's it called? What's it going to be called? Do you know?
Is Gabriel on the line?
I think we might have lost him. His mind might have been blown by what you did.
Well, I'm inspired by, just a chicken restaurant in general. I'm there.
Oh, man.
I'm there.
I think the secret to what in both these marinades that you've just made is allowing your chicken wing to sit long enough in your marinade such that the ingredients can really just permeate through the fibers of that meat and just hold on to it. Just hold on to the fiber, cling to it, and just go to sleep. And then the next day, when you put them in the deep fry, they just and then they hold on a little bit more. That by the time you eat it, it's just amore. It's amore.
So again, key tips for starting a restaurant: focus on the quality of your ingredients. Be different to your neighbor. Very, very important. Make sure what you're offering is unique. Look after the people that are visiting you in your restaurant. Give them something they want to remember when they go home. They'll be like, "Yo, Gabriel's. I'm coming back."
Gabriel's. Where are you going? I'm going to Gabriel's. What are you going to eat at Gabriel's? Chicken wings.
Chicken.
What do you think?
Gabriel!
Gabriel! Listen.
Yes!
Oh, we're going to be back. The lines are still open. 021-110-5552. It's the culinary hotline. Bling! Sing, sing, sing!
Come on, guys. Chicken wing, Nyana. Chicken
Jay's
wing,
space
Nyana.
some for us this side. Come on, we're hungry as well, okay?
I'm sorry.
Man.
Looks delicious. Now, the response from South Africans answering our call to come together and help those who are in need most through the Woolworths Fuller Bag campaign has been overwhelming. These selfless contributions from you have already touched the lives of so many people in need.
Thank gift of the givers as well as Woolworths as well as the Matric for helping us in Ruyterweg.
Dankie vir die mense wat dit bedag ons geskenke die Here seën. I just want to say thank you to you all.
Thank you.
We thank you for the gift and givers and Woolworths who support us. En as dit die liefde is, dan weet ek regtig nie wat is liefde nie. Dankie Here.
You're all on your mission further. Thank you very, very much.
We appreciate it and God bless you all.
Ek sê baie duisend dankies vir hulle en ek sê hulle sal geseën wees in alle opsigte vir wat hulle gedoen het. Baie dankie.
Thank you for everything.
Ek gaan net dankie sê. Merci.
Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you.
How beautiful was that? Siyabonga, so beautiful indeed. Of course, thanks to these continuous and really ongoing efforts, Woolies has managed to make such huge donations to raise 2,382,249 rand. Yes.
Yeah.
Now this equates to a total of 807,542 meals donated, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And of course, out of our 1 million meal goals, this means that we're moving. And clearly the combined efforts of all the South African public and Woolworths is making such a huge difference to citizens on a daily basis. And of course, if just over 19,000 South Africans donated 10 rand each, that would be our goal achieved. And the truth is, together we will, and together we can. So go on to woolworths.co.za/together we will.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you. Oh yes, when you hear that tune, you know what time it is. It's that time of the day where we wish you, once again, our loved and loyal viewers, a very happy birthday. Of course, if you are celebrating yours today, well, you celebrate this birthday with Aretha Franklin of South Africa. I'm talking about Karen Koche, of course, who turns 40 years old today, the big 4-0. She was the winner of a very well-known singing competition. She did so well. After winning the competition, she went on to release 3 albums through record label Sony BMG. And of course, she's graced South Africans with her beautiful voice for over 10 years. We've had her here on the show. She's put our stage on fire. And so to you, Karen, happy birthday. We love you.
Happy birthday to you. To more birthdays, happy birthday to Uzine. I pray that God blesses you with all the happiness in this universe. May you prosper and shine everywhere you go. From your friend, Zine. Happy birthday. Carrie-Ann, happy birthday to my mother, Carrie-Ann Williams. I wish you all the best on this special day. Love you lots from your children and grandchildren.
It's also Leah's birthday today. Happy birthday to my last born Leah. May God bless you, younger king. I pray that you become better than me. From your dad, Kolozi Titana. Beautiful message. Happy birthday, Leah. And then it's Liana's birthday. Happy birthday to this amazing woman, sister, a tough lady who's always, seeing the best in everyone. A beautiful friend of mine, Liana Ndiweni. You are a true blessing, my friend. Have a special one. This is from Tando Lufuno.
That's a beautiful message. This one goes out to Kai, wishing our nephew Kai a blessed 8th birthday. May goodness and mercy follow you always, and may you fulfill your purpose in life. Your presence in our lives brings so much joy. Love you lots. From Jen, Nina, and Jamie Lee. Happy birthday to Nancy G. May you be blessed more. Thank you so much for everything. From Shanice Govender. Short and sweet. Happy
This is
birthday.
our Nancy Govender. The Nancy Govender that we know on Facebook. Happy birthday, Nancy.
Nancy Govender. Nancy Govender sends me sunrise pictures every single day. Shout outs to you, Nancy. We love you, and I hope that you have a fantastic birthday.
Happy birthday, Nancy. And of course, Sophia has a birthday today as well. To the most beautiful girl I've ever laid my eyes on. You're such a blessing, and I wish you many more years. Happy 3rd birthday to you, Sophia. Lots of love. This is from your dad, Dylan. Happy birthday, Sophia. Of course, if you know anyone celebrating their birthday, we want to hear from you. Send us a video. Sing them their favorite song on a video and send it to us on WhatsApp. That number is 071-6406-551. Or you can email us birthdays@cardova.tv. But if it's your birthday today, from us to you,
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday indeed, and let's continue the celebrations. Of course, we are also celebrating International Youth Day, and we're doing some special things out here. So earlier in our social worker, we chatted to a social worker, Paula Hildebrandt, and she discussed the importance of keeping children mentally stimulated while at home during the pandemic. So one way to keep them occupied, in good spirits, and of course physically fit is of course by doing something called yoga. And our yoga is a mindfulness practice, and not only does it offer a number of benefits for adults, but also for children too. So yoga has been proven to help them with self-esteem, I think self-confidence too, and it also improves your memory and focus. And of course, one thing to add to that list is academic performance too, which I know we are all just seeking right now during this pandemic. So this morning, I'll be taking you through a short yoga workout for kids on this International Youth Day, and I'm joined by the ever glamorous Jamie Lee Domberg.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't say illustrious again, but we good. No, joking. I'm very excited for this because it is, of course, International Youth Day, but also just to incorporate the kids into something fun, because then mom and dad and everyone can do it because of the good benefits of yoga.
Yeah, the benefits of yoga, just like you said, it benefits everybody, from the youngest of kids all the way down to your gogo that's about to start a fitness journey. Everybody can benefit from doing some yoga. And what I've done today is kind of made this a little bit more engaging. I've kind of created a story out of the sequence, and we're going to be doing different flows and different poses, but we're going to kind of create a fun dynamic and element to it, all right? So for everybody out there listening, any kids getting involved, any parents that want to pass this on to their kids, it's a great opportunity to get everybody involved in this story, all right? So story time begins by us spinning
Uncle Riley is taking us through a story once upon a time.
And literally that. So once upon a time, we found ourselves in a field. It was a bright sunny day, and what we did was we literally saluted the sun, and we placed our hands into the air. We took a big, deep breath in, and we gazed upon the sun, making sure that we appreciate all the life that it's giving us and everything that the sun does. And while looking up at the sun and holding this position, we were able to see some incredible birds soaring in the sky. And what we're going to do is simulate that bird soaring in the sky right now, Jamie, by lifting that leg up behind you. And you can carry on feeling like a bird right now. And all the kids at home, you can try and focus on your bird wings and open them up now and flying and soaring into the sky, heading through over the trees and over the canopies into the forest. Jamie, how are you feeling? What are you seeing in front of you?
I'm seeing eagles.
You're seeing eagles. You're looking like a beautiful eagle right now, floating in the sky. And after 30 seconds of floating and soaring, we're going to find ourselves in a beautiful tree canopy right now. So you'll see all the birds taking their rest in the tree canopy. So you're going to make yourselves like a tree now and open up those arms, keeping a good, constant and solid, deep breath. And obviously now we're going to wave our hands up into the air. Our leaves are now rustling in the wind, and you're keeping a nice big breath. And of course, the trees are nice and stable, Jamie, so make sure that you are rooted into the ground. Make sure that your toes are nice and spread over the earth, keeping a good, solid foundation and maintaining that core. And all of a sudden, the trees found out that
there's a wind.
There's a wind blowing the tree over, right? So now what started blowing the trees over was not only wind, but it was also rain, and the rain came down. And just like the rain, we're going to make as if we are dripping down into the ground. So take another deep breath and drop your hands all the way down to the ground. You can start off by just rustling and hanging in the air. You can have a little bit of a bend in your leg now and pretending like you're the rain, and the rain is coming down and hitting the ground and puddling up. You can bend your knees a little bit now. And what happened after the rain came through? The frogs pulled in, Jamie.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So you're going to make like a frog right now, ribbiting away, enjoying the flood, enjoying the water, looking around you to your right-hand side. Once again, you'll open up those hips as you watch all your other frog buddies out there spreading those hips, saying, what's up?
What's up, froggy?
Taking over to the other side with the froggies, making sure that you're breathing as you take in the beautiful forest. Say what's up to your froggies on your left-hand side.
What's up, froggies?
Your left-hand side, and now you're taking a big breath in, and now the froggies started feeling some more water coming through there, so they started flowing with the water, Jamie, and they started playing, and they started breathing, and started pretending as though they were about to make one big rabbit with their lungs, and a big breath, and they carried on playing, and they carried on playing in the forest floor. Obviously, the rain came down and caused the flood, but once the frogs all disappeared, all that they were left with was the flooded forest floor. And what was underneath the ground, Jamie? Nothing but a seedling waiting to sprout out and become a tree once again. So we're going to make like a seedling, and we're going to rest our heads on the ground, taking one last big breath, taking everything that we have just experienced in our day, the beauty of the sun, the animals, the frogs, the wind, the trees, the water, and everything that brings the magic of life towards us. And we realize as we rise up like that seed, slowly starting to bring our heads up, slowly starting to place our hands together in front of our chests, taking one big breath as your seed now becomes a part of that beautiful thing we call life. One big breath. And release. And that ends our story time, Jamie, and our session of yoga.
I feel like I'm going to invite you over every single night to do bedtime stories for Luca. That was beautiful. I love that, and I feel so at peace, and I feel like everyone at home will also be able to feel the benefit of that yoga flow. So thanks for that, Raul de Mornay.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that story. And of course, after story time, you earned yourself a snack.
I did.
Once again, indeed. So for all the kids that have tried this as well, grab yourselves a snack, enjoy the session, and of course, appreciate the magic of life.
Okay, I'm going in. I'm going in. I owned it.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
on us on your cell phone.
Culinary hotline bling.
That can only
It's
mean
fire,
one
it's
thing.
fuego, it's ringing in your ears. It's the Culinary hotline bling.
Ting, ting, ting.
It's live, large and in charge on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We got Chef Clem ready to answer all of your foodie questions, your culinary conundrums. Of course, you can call us on 021 110 552. Earlier on, we helped Gabriel with the most amazing of chicken wing marinades. 2 ways. Hopefully his business takes off and is successful despite what's happening right now. But I'm liking where we're going at the moment. Hopefully we'll be getting a couple of calls soon to take care of some questions. I think we actually have a call coming in. Yeah, there's a call coming in right now. How about it? How about it? Who's on the line?
Hello?
Hello? Is it Karabo?
Hello, yeah, hi.
Spontaneous Karabo.
It's Bramley.
Oh, it's Bramley. It's Bramley on the line. All right, cool. Bramley, what is your question?
Last week I had a question when you guys were doing the spaghetti thing, because I've got a shop that I opened up in Pretoria where I sell chicken chow mein and prawns, and it concerns like having spaghetti with it. So I had problems preparing it in the beginning, where like my spaghetti would end up, in this mushy puff form. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if I added too much, water, or I left it in the water for long, or I boiled it, because I heard Chef Clem talking about the pores need to breathe. What are you talking about?
All right, here we go. Chef Clem on it.
Okay, I'm going to step aside because I got something ready on the side here.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing about pasta, right? We spoke about this last week, but 100% I'm glad that you brought it up again.
And when you say pasta, you're talking about penne, linguine, fettuccine, spaghetti, all of it.
Especially for being in a restaurant, I think the most important thing is you're obviously prepping as much as you can before someone walks through the door.
Yes.
Pasta's like a little tricky because you're trying to keep it al dente.
Yes.
Yeah, but you still want to give that customer that al dente experience, but you need to prep it for the time. So I said last week, cook your pasta. If your pasta instructions is cook for 8 minutes, cook it for a minute less, and then obviously your job right now is to try and cool it down as fast as you can and get into the fridge. So what I would recommend is getting like a big baking tray, and as soon as that hot pasta comes out, no, we don't rinse our pasta. We know this. We don't
rinse your pasta. Yeah. It loses flavor.
It loses that starch as well, which is most important, which helps your pasta cling onto the sauces. So don't rinse it with pasta at all. What you can do, a little bit of olive oil.
Yeah.
And did you say you're doing chow mein? So you're doing Asian inspired. So what you can do then, as your noodles come out.
Yes,
actually, Asian inspired noodles. Asian noodles are pretty cool because Asian noodles cook like in a minute or two. So then you can even cook that from dry, which is actually also kind of great. But in general, let's just talk about this. So your pasta comes out super, super hot. Get it on a big baking tray, creating more surface area so the steam will release from your pasta. It'll cool down quicker, and you hit it with a little bit of olive oil. And that olive oil is just going to stop the pasta from sticking together. Then, obviously, what I would do is I would portion all the pasta to that portion size. So when the order comes in, like, honestly, not even 30 seconds, straight into the hot water. Or if you got your hot sauce, go straight from the portion size, straight into your hot sauce, wok it.
Yeah.
But I like the fact you're using Asian noodles because they really do cook in a minute or two. Like, super, super quick. So I like that one. But yes, first rule, never rinse it with water. You want that starch on your pasta. Rule number 2, hit it with a little bit of olive oil just to stop it sticking, and you should be good. And that big baking tray to release as much of the temperature and that steam as possible. Yeah, I'm so inspired about your Asian restaurant. I dig it. It sounds
That's amazing.
So cool.
What's it called? Bromley, are you there? Bromley?
Bromley.
Bromley? No? Oh, Bromley's left us. Well, listen, good luck, mate. Good luck with it.
I dig it. I like the question because I did get some more questions about that. Some people missed that part about don't rinse it with the water. Don't do that.
Yeah. That was and by the way, you can revisit those tips on YouTube. So catch us on YouTube, the Culinary Hotline. Let's quickly get another question. So let's quickly go on. We got one from Spontaneous Karabo. Right? Spontaneous Karabo said, could you tell me how to cook a perfect T-bone steak?
Love this one. We cannot go over this enough. So T-bone steak is really great, and can I test you?
Please do.
Can I test you? Okay, so T-bone steak is made out of 2 parts, which is divided by the T-bone.
Yes.
In case you didn't know, now you know.
Yes, indeed.
What are those 2 parts? For 500 Rand Katlego.
Oh, this is like who wants to be a millionaire.
And your time starts.
Would it be one of them is the rump?
No. No?
Goodness grief.
Okay, and you can phone a friend. You can call me.
Oh, Chef Clem.
Yes, let me help you.
What is it?
Okay, it's made up of the fillet. That's a beautiful eye over there. That's the fillet.
Fillet, man.
You can come through for a bonus point.
Oh, man. The sirloin.
The sirloin!
Oh,
yes! Look
yes.
under your seat! Look under your seat!
It's what's under my seat. I'm so nervous.
I'm sorry, but you should be proud because you got that one right. So, honestly, this is the most beautiful steak to cook, especially if you want to like spend some special time with your lady, because there's 2 steaks on there already. You know, 2 steaks for the price of 1, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful steak. So what I recommend is there's always a fat cap on the side of your sirloin.
Yes.
So what you want to do is kind of like help the steak a bit. So scoring it lightly just helps that fat render out of the steak. That's also beautiful because then as it cooks, it kind of fans out a little bit, which is really, really great.
Yes.
So we know the fillet cooks very quickly because there's not a lot of fat in there, and then the sirloin cooks a little longer. So how are you going to do it? Because you're putting 1 steak down, so by the time your sirloin's cooked, your fillet's going to be like overcooked.
Yes.
Right? No. We're scoring the fat, right? So we're going to kickstart the cooking process on the sirloin. We can hit the fat side down. It's going to start rendering the fat out, and it's going to start cooking your sirloin before it cooks your fillet. But I made a mistake.
What did you do? You didn't put olive oil and
No,
season.
the olive oil's fine. Olive oil's fine. What you want to do with your steak, any protein, chicken, beef, pork, lamb, fish, whatever, try and take it out the fridge at least half an hour before you put it down on a hot surface.
So it adjusts
remember
to
the tipa that we did?
Yes.
Right. So if you're going to hit cold protein on a very hot surface, it's going to clench. It's going to clench. So what I suggest is you take it out, let it come to room temperature as much as you can, season it. And the reason we want to season ahead of time is because you kind of notice like it draws moisture out of the steak.
Yeah.
Which is like, you don't want to
because
take
salt
moisture.
is a dehydrating agent.
But it's not moisture, a flavor. It's kind of like this. It kind of helps your steak to form a crust. So you want that.
Is it because it brings it to the surface and when you hit it on the hot,
absolutely.
on that heat, it goes.
Yes, absolutely. So then, fat side down, let the fat start rendering out. We scored the fat, it's going to come out a lot more easier now. We're also going to get the steak cooking in a little bit of its own fat, which I mean is amazing. Beef fat is amazing. It's so good.
Natural flavors.
So, nice hot griddle pan. You don't need a griddle pan. Use a normal pan at home. This is where you can kind of
oil, Clem.
No
oil.
Not yet. Okay. We get in there. So then, let's check it out. Look at that.
Oh,
really
look
happening.
at that, man. Yeah. That's beautiful.
You don't need a lot of oil. It's really, that's perfectly good. Hit it down. Then you can oil the other side now. What I do want to say is I've added salt, not pepper.
But why? Because pepper...
Say it. You know this.
What on earth? I feel like all of my knowledge is being tested right now, but I don't know.
You know what it was?
To me. What?
It was Raul's mesmerizing story. I'm still there in the swamp with the frog.
Yes.
And I'm there. I'm not even here right now. Hey, Raul's voice with that storytelling was amazing, guys. If anything, if you want to go back to YouTube for anything, go back to that story with Raul told with the frog.
So you don't add the pepper
because there's oils in pepper, and the oil will burn on the steak.
Yes.
Especially if we're using such an aggressive high heat. You want to get the charry flavor, but you're going to end up burning
your oils in the pepper.
Talking about Raul and I we did a whole Facebook Live session on steaks.
Yes.
And it's so important because you're spending a lot of money on buying a good quality piece of meat. You want to make sure you execute it properly and get the most value out of that steak as possible. Yeah. It's all about cooking it correctly.
Okay. We'll be watching that very carefully. Are you going to flip it right now already?
Just to have a look and see.
Just to have a look.
The rule also, you don't want to fiddle with it too much, but I just want you to see where we're currently at.
Never fiddle with it. Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is just turn it around the other way, get that like the cross edge.
The crisscross. Crisscross, so make you
jump.
All right. Okay, quickly. Crunchies. We got a question from Veloshni Governor who says, please show me how to make beautiful crunchies. Why crunchies become so hard even though I go according to the recipe and bake it at 180 for 25 minutes. Okay. What is she doing wrong?
First of all, no two ovens are ever the same.
Yes.
Ever. Very important with biscuits and with crunchies. I'm going to do this very, very quickly. Maybe I'll even just talk about it very quickly.
Yeah.
Most important thing is, especially when you're using sugar, which I've got in here, I creamed up my butter, and I'm using some golden syrup. Sugar, when you heat it up, it goes like soft, runny. You know, we understand what that happens. Then, when it starts cooling down again, it firms up.
Yeah.
So chances are, even if the packing instruction says cook for 15 minutes, your oven may be a little too high, I would take it down to like 12 minutes. You're never looking for your biscuit to be hard in the oven. It should still have a little bit of a give, it'll move a little bit, and then when it cools down, you'll see it's going to firm up. That goes for your biscuits, your brownies, your crunchies. Don't cook it too crisp in the oven. It's going to end up being like...
Give it some time.
Yeah, give it time and it'll cool off on the baking tray on a wire sheet.
Just show us how to smash it together.
Okay, very quickly. We've got time. Okay, so I've creamed some butter and sugar together.
Yes.
Very, very simple. Okay, then to that I'm going to add some golden syrup. Get my spoon in there. And the golden syrup also helps you keep that crunchy texture, that like chewy texture.
Yes.
Then we've got some coconut going in.
Oh, lovely touch.
Yeah, like coconut also retains moisture really well. Some baking powder. This is a very forgiving recipe. We got the recipe for you.
So we'll catch it on our website, expressoshow.com.
Yeah. You know it. A little bit of water.
Yeah.
This is great for the kids as well because, I mean, it's not very technical.
Yes.
And then all you do is just mix it into like a beautiful, beautiful dough. And then you're done. You got your oats. I kind of get this together first. Once it comes together, you add your oats. It should make like a nice Play-Doh.
Are we okay there?
Oh, we're good. Okay, where's my tongs? Let's go.
Yeah. Just check. Oh, crisscross will make you. That's
See that crisscross?
lovely. That's
you see
beautiful.
There we go. And again, if you're in a restaurant, if you are serving it for a restaurant, you want to get that crisscross on there. You want to make it look fancy. You want to make it look amazing. That's the way. But he was making it for, you said he just made it for himself or for someone, right? Still
no,
at home.
Yeah, this is for himself.
At home, you put in the same effort you would in a restaurant. Make sure it looks as beautiful as it would be a dish that you eat in a restaurant. And you go with your oats. Beautiful, nice and simple.
That's amazing, man.
It's so simple.
You smash that onto a baking tray?
Yeah. Got our baking tray. Make sure you line your baking tray, whether it's a non-stick kitchen spray or some baking paper. Get that in there. So simple. 20 minutes, you should be good. Don't forget, don't cook it till it's crispy in the oven. Cook it till it's a little bit soft and malleable. Then all you got to do is let it chill, and you'll see when it starts chilling, it's going to firm up, and you're good to go.
There we go. Good
Crunchies.
stuff. Do the things. Get it in there. All right.
We did a lot this morning.
We've served up all that is delicious and hopefully answered and inspired you in the kitchen. Try out some cool recipes. Send us your questions on social media, of course, on Expresso Morning Show SABC3 on Facebook. You can type out lively, long questions. We love those as well. And then you can give us a call on 021-110-552. We'll call you back on the next edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing!
Join the Insider SA Tuesday evening at 7:30 as we explore traditions in a modern world. Stand a chance to win prizes from the incredible creatives featured in the show, like Fynbos-inspired perfume from Wild Olive, scatter cushions from Ardmore, and a scented egg candle from Avuva. Plus, get your special discount on Ardmore and Wild Olive collectibles. Follow us on social media and join the Insider SA community. Your guide to living better. Tuesday evening at 7:30. Repeat Saturday nights at 8, only on SABC3.
So I'm chatting to Umalume Musa here. He's owned a small clothing factory for years now, and he's always inspired me with his success. But like a lot of businesses, this lockdown's hit him hard. So he spoke to his banker, and they've put together a tailor-made relief solution for him to help his business and his people get through this. Making your bank your business partner, that's a habit worth keeping.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. As we close out our special focus on International Youth Day, we know that one of the biggest issues facing this group, first and foremost, is getting through the 2020 academic year.
Totally, Kuhle. Now, the motivation to stay learning during these times can be challenging. And that's why we'd like to share the following words from Ted Sizer, who was a leader in educational reform in the US. And he challenged long-standing practices and assumptions about the functioning of the American high school system and founded the Coalition of Essential Schools, which advocated for personalized and flexible instruction. And now this is what he has to say.
The first object of any act of learning, over and beyond the pleasure of it may give, is that it should serve us in the future. Learning should not only take us somewhere, it should allow us later to go further more easily.
I could not agree more, Kukle, and I think a perfect example of that learning producing to something that can actually serve us is what we're about to see right now. And that's Rhythm's House Quartet, who are about to perform live in an incredible rendition. But let's find out more with Kat.
Yeah, this morning as we celebrate International Youth Day, we're joined by students from the music department of Rhythm House, which boasts a beautiful department there that really seeks to bring out the passion of music within their youngsters, and they're about to perform from us. But not before a quick little question to you. Juliet Yakubi, you're part of the quartet. How long have you been playing with the quartet?
So Michaela and I have been here for about 5 years, but the quartet has existed for 10 years now.
Wow,
yeah.
Wonderful. What do you enjoy about playing music and being part of the quartet?
I think it's incredible. We have so many incredible lessons to learn as playing together, because it's one thing playing a solo, but when we learn to play in our quartet, we listen to one another and we have these vocal lines that intertwine with one another, and there's so much to learn.
Wow, so much can be learned from that by our world leaders out there. Maybe you should all start little quartets in Parliament. But this piece of music you're about to play for us, what is it called?
The Double Bach Violin Concerto in D.
Fantastic. The stage is all yours. Take it away.
Thank you.
From the Rhythm House Quartet, thank you so much. Tell me, do you have any upcoming performances, perhaps maybe even virtual performances that you're going to be putting on anytime soon?
Well, yes, actually this evening, the Matrics, we have a Matric prelim practical.
Oh, yes.
And so that will be filmed and recorded. So.
Well, luckily you've had your practice in front of all of these cameras, so you're ready, right, and good to go. Well, thank you very much for the wonderful entertainment. We can't wait to see what each of you are going to be delivering in the future in terms of your future careers in music. But thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolutely wonderful Wednesday. Team, hope you've enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
It really has been. Wow, guys, what a treat on a beautiful Wednesday. What a way to get into a brand new day. You did say no matter the weather, be sure to make it a feel-good type of day, but that is the thing we needed. I love it.
They need to send in their sunrise pictures, okay?
And guess what, guys? We do this all over tomorrow again. We'll be meeting the world's tallest giraffe, so that's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, we're also going to be doing some fitness. I've got Kukle, we're going to be working on that tummy.
And we're also going to be working on some vocals with Lee
Cole. Yeah,
Lee Cole's going to be releasing new music tomorrow. It's going to be a
Nice.
fun day.
Okay, it's jam-packed. It sounds really good. Do connect with us. Let us know some of your favorite moments from this morning on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. I've really had a good time just going through all of those comments of parents who are saying how they've been adjusting with their kids during this time. It's all so much fun, but please keep those coming through as well.
Expresso Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.